Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream watch along on the Dibbly-Dobbly podcast. It's the first semi-final between New Zealand and Pakistan from the SCG. You win, you go through to the final on Sunday at the MCG. But if you lose, that's the end of your tournament. And New Zealand and Pakistan are raring to go tonight for this first semi-final. For one of these two teams, they will either meet India or England in Sunday's final at the MCG. But it's sure to be an exciting game of cricket tonight. And thanks for joining us, everyone. New Zealand, they're playing in their second straight semi-final in T20 World Cups. They were here at this time last year in the UAE. But can they go all the way and win the tournament? That remains to be seen. Pakistan are also playing in their second straight semi-final in T20 World Cups after what they did in 2021. But it was a crushing defeat in the semi-final against Australia in 2021. Can Pakistan go all the way, I should say, in 2022? We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But thanks for joining us, everyone. It's sure to be an exciting game of cricket. We're not too far away from the game actually starting. Hello, Gaming Crab. Hope you're well. Hoping New Zealand will win tonight. Well, they are favourites to win. It'll be interesting to see what they will do tonight, New Zealand and Pakistan. But we're not far away from the game starting. We haven't had the toss yet, and we've just had the toss, and I believe New Zealand have won the toss. They've chosen to bat first, which is a good decision to make. Obviously, you want to put runs to the board in a semi-final, put the opposition under pressure, and that's what they've done. So New Zealand have decided to bat first, and the teams will get the teams in as soon as possible. And New Zealand won the toss, chose to bat first in the semi-final, and looking to put runs on the board. But thanks for joining us, everyone. And it's sure to be an interesting couple of semi-finals today. New Zealand, Pakistan from Sydney at the SCG. And then we've got India and England, the big one, tomorrow in Adelaide. So it's going to be a very interesting couple of semi-finals. Can't wait to see what's actually going to happen. Gaming Crab says, I'm actually more excited and waiting for ODI series than the final. Well, the 50-over World Cup's not until next year, so that will be in India, of course. But T20 World Cup, you've got to decide a winner in this tournament. And it's been a long T20 World Cup, and it's coming towards its crescendo, as they say, the ending. And I think most people will be glad when the tournament is over. So, as we said, New Zealand won the toss. They've chosen to bat first. I believe New Zealand have said, well, we've got the same team. Pakistan have also got the same team as well. So we'll get the teams up when we can. Before we do, let's have a bit of a talk and let's preview tonight's semi-final between New Zealand and Pakistan from the SCG. Semi-final number one. And talk about both teams and their squads and how they'll go about things tonight. And also look at the stats between the two countries in T20 Nationals and in T20 World Cups. And we'll also have a look at the stats in T20 cricket at the SCG as well. But first of all, let's talk about New Zealand, first of all, and how they are shaping up for tonight's game. Let's have a look at how they have gone about things in this tournament. And they've gone about things quite nicely. It's been a bit up and down for New Zealand in this T20 World Cup, looking to win this semi-final tonight. Challenges for New Zealand tonight is their batting. Their batting needs the fire tonight. Their batting throughout this tournament has been inconsistent. Obviously, the only one who's been scoring runs for New Zealand is Glenn Phillips. Obviously, he scored that wonderful century against Sri Lanka, 104 off 64 balls. But the other batters have fallen away a bit. Finn Allen, Devon Conway were good against Australia in the first game here in Sydney many weeks ago. But they've fallen away a little bit. Kane Williamson's been under pressure, the captain. Daryl Mitchell, Jimmy Neesham haven't done much either. So for New Zealand tonight, They're batting first. They've won the toss. They've batted first. Allen, Conway, Williamson, Mitchell, Neesham need to support Glenn Phillips, because once you get the top order out early, and Pakistan will know that, their batting does fall away a little bit. So their batting has been a bit inconsistent throughout this tournament, but they've managed to qualify for another semi-final again in a T20 World Cup. Back-to-back, obviously last year, they won that semi-final against England, but New Zealand are a good chance tonight, but the batting is the biggest challenge facing them in tonight's game against Pakistan. They have to fire, and they can't rely on Glenn Phillips to get them over the line. So Williamson, Allen, Conway, Mitchell and Neesham need to really stand up. And also for New Zealand, the other challenge is taking wickets, making sure we take early wickets, break the opening partnership between Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan. That opening partnership's been successful for Pakistan. But in this T20 World Cup, it hasn't really fired. So for New Zealand, they need to take early wickets to put the top order and the middle order of Pakistan under pressure this evening. So for New Zealand, there's a couple of the challenges that they'll face in tonight's semi-final. But I'm sure they will be looking to get off to a good start batting first this evening. But those are some of the challenges for New Zealand. Let's talk about Pakistan. Which sort of Pakistan are we going to get tonight? Are we going to get the good or the bad Pakistan tonight? They've been a bit inconsistent throughout this tournament. Losing the first 2 games set them back, but they've been able to win the last 3 games against the Netherlands, South Africa, and Bangladesh. And also, I think Pakistan will be saying thank you to the Netherlands after what they did to South Africa in Adelaide to make sure that Pakistan are here tonight. Now, the challenges for Pakistan, their opening partnership must fire. Now, they're going to be batting second tonight because New Zealand won the toss. It's important for Mohammad Rizwan, I should say, and Babar Azam. It's important for them to get going. The opening partnership has failed many times in this tournament. And for Pakistan to chase down any total that New Zealand set tonight, they will need that partnership to be firing. And as we've seen in the past with Pakistan, if Azam and Rizwan fail, then the middle order is not really doing their job, and they don't really bat well, and they sort of fall away and collapse. But we've seen in the last 3 games from Pakistan where they've bounced back to make it to tonight's semi-final. The middle order has started to do their job. But different kettle of fish tonight. It's a semi-final, different sort of pressure. Can they handle that? That's one big challenge. And also for Pakistan right now, they'll be bowling first. So they've got to take early wickets. Their pace attack, the likes of Shaheen Shah Afridi, Naseem Shah, you got Mohammad Wasim, Haris Rauf. They will need to take early wickets and strike for Pakistan, because if they can get a few early wickets and unsettle New Zealand throughout this first innings of this semi-final, they're a good chance of keeping them to a low score. So those are the couple of the challenges facing Pakistan tonight in the semi-final. But if they can execute with both bat and ball, I think they're a good chance of actually winning the game. We'll get to your comments, and we'll continue on with our preview. Gaming Crab says, who are you supporting, Jack, since Australia's out? I am thinking New Zealand versus India for final. What about you? Well, Gaming Crab, yes, Australia are out, so I'm actually going for New Zealand. I tend to support New Zealand, and I hope they'll do the job tonight. I reckon it could be New Zealand, England in the final. It's pretty hard for me to say that, being an Australian supporter, but I think England, they're the favourites. I think that should be a good game tomorrow against India, but I think they'll do enough to go through. But we'll never know. We'll wait and see what happens tomorrow. John says, it will be actually nice to just kick back and watch the match without tearing my hair out. I understand your pain, John. I understand your pain. It's sort of like me tonight, really. Just laid back. We're just having a good time talking about cricket and watching the game, and don't have to worry about Australia because they're out of the tournament, and already people have said what they needed to say about Australia. So I can understand that, John. But great to see you as always. Let's continue our preview before this game gets started. Let's have a look at the stats. T20 international stats between the two countries. Head-to-head in T20s, it's in favour of Pakistan, 17-11. And both teams' records in T20s in Australia, they've won 3 games each. And so they've gotten used to Australian conditions. Leading run scorer between the two countries is Mohammed Afees with 563. Leading wicket takers Tim Southey with 28. Most dismissals is Sarfraz Ahmed with 9. Most catches Tim Southey with 12. Most matches Martin Gupta with 19. And the first T20 International that the two countries played in was back in 2007. And that was in the first T20 World Cup in South Africa. As we have a look, the highest totals and lowest totals, well, these teams like to score big. And Pakistan have the highest total between them and New Zealand in T20 Internationals, 4 for 201. And the lowest total is New Zealand with 80 all out. So these teams like to score big. As we have a look at the successful run chases, and the highest successful run chase between New Zealand and Pakistan in T20 Internationals is 169. New Zealand chased that down quite easily to win by 10 wickets back in 2016. So New Zealand will be looking at that and saying anything 150 plus up towards 170, 180 will be a good score tonight. Runs of the board in a semi-final are good, and that's why they're batting first this evening. And let's have a look at the T20 World Cup stats between the two countries. Head-to-head in T20 World Cups, Pakistan are leading that 4-2 to them. As we mentioned before, their first T20 World Cup match was back in 2007. That was in Cape Town. Pakistan won that by 6 wickets. The last time they met in a T20 World Cup match was last year, where Pakistan and New Zealand were in the same group. And Pakistan won that by 5 wickets last year in Dubai. So that's the last meeting between the teams in a T20 World Cup before this evening's semi-finals. So those are some of the stats in T20 Internationals and T20 World Cups with New Zealand and Pakistan. We'll come back to that as the night progresses. But there we go. That's our preview. And we've pretty much outlined some of the challenges that both teams will face tonight. But it's sure to be an exciting game. 2 very good teams. New Zealand looking good. Pakistan, we don't know which Pakistan we're going to get tonight. Hopefully we get the good Pakistan and see them perform well. But it's sure to be an exciting game. And we're not far away from the game actually starting. John says this should be 170, 180 pitch. Pakistan's bowling and fielding will be the critical aspect tonight, I think. You're right there, John. I've noticed... And we'll have a look at the stats a bit later on when New Zealand start batting, some of the stats at the SCG and T20 Internationals. But the average score is around about that 170, 180 mark. Many teams haven't chased down that total in this T20 World Cup. The only team to chase down a score here at the SCG was England, and that was against Sri Lanka. Everyone else who's played here in this T20 World Cup, if they've batted first, they've always won the game. So could that trend continue tonight? I think it might. But you never know in T20 cricket. But that's a very good point there, John. Pakistan's fielding and bowling. We know Pakistan can be a bit terrible in the field, so they're really got to be focusing on their fielding, and they've been working on that. They've been improving on their fielding, which has been nice. But it's really got to step up tonight if they're going to win this game, because if it doesn't, then if you drop catches, you can't give second chances to Glenn Phillips, for example, from New Zealand, because he's going to go and score a century like he did against Sri Lanka. So that's going to be very critical. But thanks for joining us, everyone. It's great to be here. And it's going to be an exciting game, that's for sure. Send in your questions before we start. I'll be happy to answer them. And as you can tell, I'm pretty much relaxed tonight because seeing that Australia's out, I can just sit back and watch a game of cricket without worrying about Australia. But Australia have got themselves to blame. John says the Kiwis might fancy themselves for another 200. That's a possibility, John. That's a possibility. They did score 200 against Australia in the first game here. Many weeks ago now. It's been a long time since the start of the tournament. They would, but for New Zealand, their batting has been a bit inconsistent. They've always relied on one person. The other batters haven't really quite fired, and that's one of the challenges I spoke about in the preview that I did before these semi-finals. And I released that episode yesterday. If you haven't watched that or listened to it, please do. I offered my thoughts on these two games in this semi-finals of this T20 World Cup, I should say. With New Zealand tonight, Finn Allen, Devon Conway, Kane Williamson, Daryl Mitchell. Who else? Jimmy Neesham need to fire. The only one who has fired is Glenn Phillips. So they can't rely on one person, New Zealand. Everyone's got to contribute tonight. This is a semi-final. Runs are important in a semi-final or any final. We all know that. So it's going to be important for them to do well this evening if they can. So we already had the toss, and New Zealand won the toss. They decided to bat first, and we'll get the teams up here for everyone to see, and then we'll get this show on the road. And let us know in the chat, everyone. Who do you think is going to win these two semi-finals? Do you think New Zealand, Pakistan, India, England? Who do you think is going to go through to Sunday's final, which will be at the MCG? And a lot of people talking about the weather, which is no surprise. That could be a reserve day for the final, and it could be a joint winner situation, which let's hope that's not the case. The last time that happened in an ICC event was the Champions Trophy back in 2002, where Sri Lanka and India shared the trophy. So that could be a possibility in this T20 World Cup, and I think a lot of people won't be happy if that's the case. But let's hope it's not. Let's hope the weather cooperates on Sunday. It's been a problem of this T20 World Cup. But the weather in Sydney is good, so we don't need to worry about rain tonight, which is a good thing. All we need to worry about is who's going to win this game. But thanks for joining us, everyone, once again. We're getting the teams up. Just a reminder again, New Zealand won the toss. They chose to bat first. Both teams are unchanged from their last game, heading into the semi-final, which was expected. Keep the same 11. No need to change it for the sake of it. You don't want to do that. So it is going to be an exciting game of cricket. Let's see what both teams will do this evening. But we'll get the teams up for everyone to see who's playing today. And we'll get this game started. We're not far away from the game actually starting. All righty then. So New Zealand won the toss. They chose to bat first. Their team is unchanged from the last game, which was against Ireland. So we've got Allen, Conway, Williamson, Phillips, Mitchell, Neesham, Southey, Sodhi, Ferguson and Bolt. For Pakistan, unchanged from their last game against Bangladesh, which was in Adelaide. And they've selected Rizwan Azam, Harris, Masoon, Ahmed, Shadab Khan, Nawaz, Wasim, Naseem Shah, Ralph, and Afridi. And our officiating team tonight, the umpires, on-field umpires, Maria Erasmus from South Africa, Richard Inworth from England, third umpire, Richard Kettleborough from England, fourth umpire, Michael Goff from England, and match referee, Chris Broad, who is the father of Stuart Broad. So an all-England officiating team there, except for Maria Erasmus, who's from South Africa. Everyone else is from England. So that is the officiating team for this evening. So we're not far away from the game starting. And thanks for joining us, everyone. And it's great to have so many of you joining us, as always, throughout these streams. As we get to the business end of this T20 World Cup, and this T20 World Cup is slowly but surely coming to an end. It's been a long time. It's October the 16th until now. So I think most people will be glad when the tournament is over and we can move on with the rest of the Australian summer, which is the test series between Australia and the West Indies. Australia announced their test squad for that series against the West Indies, which is starting at the end of this month. Two-game test series in Perth and Adelaide. It should be you would think a one-sided series, and you would think Australia should get the job done there. And then South Africa come to play Australia in 3 test matches straight after that series for Christmas, New Year period. So that should be an interesting series there as Australia try and focus on the World Test Championship, which is the next tournament for them on the horizon. Alrighty then. We're raring to go. Both teams are singing the national anthems, and we're raring to go for this first semi-final of this T20 World Cup. It is New Zealand and Pakistan from the SCG. The weather's good, no threat of rain, and tomorrow the weather in Adelaide's good as well. So both semi-finals surely won't go to the reserve day, but the final on Sunday may. The weather in Melbourne looking a bit scratchy. So we're moments away from this semi-final beginning. Both teams eager, raring to go. Whoever wins today will go through to the final on Sunday. A lot of people saying New Zealand winning tonight. A lot of people going for Pakistan, which is good to see. Now New Zealand singing their national anthem, and they'll be batting first. And it's going to be an interesting semi-final tonight. Both teams are capable. Both teams are capable of winning this whole tournament. But anything can happen in a semi-final, as we know. Runs on the board would be key for New Zealand. Give something for their bowlers to defend. For Pakistan, they have to bowl well and field well. This is where you can't afford any mistakes in the field, any slip-ups. You've got to be right on it from ball one. You can't be afraid to put it out there and put it on the line. And that's what they will be doing tonight, these two teams. But the sun glaring down on the SCG and bright sunshine, good crowd in tonight. A lot of support for both teams, and also a lot of neutral support as well. Just want to go watch a game of cricket, which is very good. So we're moments away. The team's about to finish up the national anthems, and New Zealand will be walking out there shortly. Devon Conway, Finn Allen will be opening the batting. And they'll be looking to get the team off to a good start. They haven't really fired after the first game against Australia, those two. So they'll be under pressure to get the team off to a good start. I think a good opening partnership in the power play will be good for New Zealand, boost their confidence, and make them feel comfortable in the semi-final. So we're ready, raring to go for the first ball. And we're not far away from this semi-final beginning. New Zealand and Pakistan, semi-final number 1 from the SCG. We're moments away from the first ball, the first over being bowled. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Sit back, relax, and let's have some fun watching what would be, or should be, I should say, a good game of cricket this evening. So New Zealand batting first. So New Zealand's opening batters out in the middle. Raring to go. Getting used to conditions. It's going to be Shaheen Afridi to bowl the first over of this semi-final. So he's going to be bowling the first ball of this semi-final. And very important for Pakistan that he's got to strike early in order to give Pakistan a good start in this power play. They need early wickets. They know how dangerous Allen and Conway can be. There's Kane Williamson looking on, the captain of New Zealand, looking on and in a face of determination and eagerness to get out there and do well when he gets the chance with the bat. Hopefully, he won't be required very early on in the innings. But you never know in T20 cricket. A wicket can fall in the first over and you're pretty much out there straight away as a number 3. It's going to be Finn Allen on strike. He's doing a few stretches, limbering up, taking guard. Devon Conway at the non-strikers in. Shaheen Afridi with the brand new Kookaburra ball in his hand. At the top of his mark, Murray Erasmus from South Africa, the umpire at the non-strikers in. About to say play to get this game underway. So here we go. Murray Erasmus says play, and we're underway. First ball of the semi-final, New Zealand and Pakistan from the SCG. Afridi bowls. This one's full and driven past mid-on for 4. First boundary of the semi-final. And what a start from New Zealand. Poor delivery from Shaheen Afridi there. That was too full. And Finn Allen was good enough to hit that pass mid-on for 4 runs. And that will boost his confidence. That was a very good shot. And already, New Zealand off to a good start in this semi-final. Very good shot. 4 runs there. Shaheen Afridi not happy with that delivery, as he should. It was a bit of a loosener. Here we go again. So Afridi into Allen. He bowls. This one's full again. Trapped him on the pad. An appeal for LBW. Murray Erasmus says, out! Yes! Gone! The finger has been raised by Murray Erasmus. The first wicket down in this semi-final. An appeal for LBW, which was successful from Pakistan. Finn Allen has reviewed it straight away. It looked pretty good. Took his time, Murray Erasmus, to think about whether or not it was going to go on and hit the stumps, but it looks pretty good. So a DRS review here. Looked pretty good. Given out on the field. Remember that. Here we go. Afridi. Good delivery. Left arm over the wicket, trying to swing it back into the right-hander. Cramped up for room there, Allen. Trapped him on the back pad. He pitched in line. Looked pretty good. Whether or not it was going to go on and hit the stumps, Murray Erasmus thought it did. So, second ball of this semi-final. It's all happening. A boundary first ball. Second ball, a wicket. Let's have a look. Was it in a bit of bat here, maybe? Oh, yes, inside edge. Oh, yeah, he hit that. Well, he was confident, Finn Allen. As soon as he was given, he said, I'm going to go straight upstairs because I've hit that. And he did. So a big spike there on the ultra edge. Murray Erasmus has to overturn his decision. Not out. So Pakistan, they don't quite get the first wicket of the semi-final. Allen survives. In again, Afridi. In again, third ball of the over. He's in. He bowls to Allen. This one traps him on the pads again and given again. He's given again, LBW. Oh, he's got 2 LBWs in a row. Shaheen Afridi swinging it back into the right-hander. Finn Allen thinking about the review again. Well, it's an identical copy of what happened on the previous ball. He's gone upstairs again. It's another review for LBW. 2 balls, 2 and 2 for Shaheen Afridi. The first one was denied because there was an inside edge. This one looked, I don't know, it looked pretty good. Murray Erasmus said set out again. Shaheen Afridi getting that swing. Left arm over the wicket to the right-hander, swinging the ball back into the right-hander. Now, did it pitch outside leg? That's the question. If it didn't, well, it looked pretty good and it was probably going to go straight on to hit the stumps. Well, 2 and 2 balls. We've had 2 balls. Both of them LBW appeals, both of them given. One was overturned. This one in the process of reviewing it. No bat involved there. Clearly hit the pad. Now, whether or not it was going down the leg side or it pitched outside leg remains to be the question. Let's have a look. No, it pitched in line. Impact is in line. Wickets hitting. That is the end of Finn Allen. He is gone. Unsuccessful with the review again. And Pakistan's strike. First wicket down for New Zealand. And finally, Pakistan get the breakthrough they needed. That is the end of Finn Allen. He's gone for 4. It's 1 for 4. Kane Williamson, new batter at the crease. A very good piece of bowling there from Afridi. Couple of balls that swung back into the right-hander. Left arm over the wicket. Left armers usually do that to a right-handed batter. Looking to swing the ball back into the right-hander, trap him on the pads. And that's what happened there. Couple of LBW appeals. One was given, the first one. That was the second ball the over was given. Reviewed by Finn Allen. It was an inside edge. The second one, next ball, trapped him on the pads again. This time got him out. And that's good bowling from Shaheen Afridi. He strikes early. Pakistan off to a very good start in this semi-final. New Zealand on the back foot. What can they do? Joy says, there goes New Zealand's 50% hopes of reaching 200. Thanks for joining us, Joy. Well, you would think so. Finn Allen hasn't really fired since the first game against against Australia, and neither has Devon Conway. As Afridi's in to Williamson. Williamson works this behind square on the leg side for a single. He's off the mark. And good start here from Afridi. They've always relied on 1 and 2 batters, New Zealand. And they've been relying on Glenn Phillips very much in the last few games. And that one there from Finn Allen, I can understand the first review because he hit it. The second one, you just pretty much have to walk off and accept the decision because that was plumb. And that was pretty good. No doubt about it. All 3 red lights. But thank you, Joy. Thanks for joining us. John says that was a poor decision. The review, the second one, yes, it was. It wasn't a good review. They lose the review, New Zealand. Devon Conway on strike for the first time in the semi-final. And he's yet to get off the mark. Afridi in, bowls. This one's full. Conway drives it to mid-off for a quick single, and he's off the mark. New Zealand looking to get some momentum back into this innings after the early wicket of Finn Allen. That's a very good decision by Murray Erasmus. And the second LBW was a very good decision. The first one, he gave it out. It looked pretty good. But Finn Allen got a bit of bat on that. So he had to overturn the decision. But Afridi, right on the money for the next delivery into Allen, the right-hander, swinging the ball back in. New Zealand, they need a competitive turtle here. Here we go. Afridi, last ball of the over, bowls to Williamson. This one's left outside off stump by Williamson. Straight through the keeper for no run. It's the end of the over. It's 1 for 6 after 1. Good start from Pakistan. And New Zealand under pressure early in the semi-final. So we'll have a look at the SCG, T20 stats, and we'll have a look here. New Zealand's record here at the SCG, they've played 4 games, have won 2 and lost 2. Pakistan have played 2, they've won 1, and 1 was a no result. So both teams will be looking to add on to those records tonight here at the SCG as we get ready for the second over of this semi-final. Finn Allen, first wicket gone for 4 or 3 balls. LBW to Shaheen Afridi, and he was not really looking his best in this tournament thus far. Allen had a pretty good game against Australia in the first game here in Sydney, but unfortunately hasn't really fired since. Naseem Shah, he's had a pretty quiet tournament. He's in now to bowl to Conway. He's up, he bowls. This one short of a length. Playing a miss from Conway. Goes straight through to the keeper for no run. 1 for 6 New Zealand in this semi-final. Naseem Shah, he's had a pretty quiet tournament, but he's done okay in his T20 career thus far. Be looking for the second breakthrough here, looking to put New Zealand really on the back burner. Here we go. Shah in again. Runs up. Past the umpire, he bowls. This one short, and Conway works it behind square on the offside for no run. He's 1 off 3. Williamson's 1 off 2. Good crowd in. A lot of support for the New Zealanders and the Pakistan team as well. It's a very good night in Sydney. No threat of rain, which is good. Pitch looks good. Should be a pitch where you can play your shots as a batter and also offer a little bit of assistance for the bowlers. Shah in again to Conway. Conway works this to point for no run. Babar Azam clapping and cheering his team and saying, good job, well done, let's keep the pressure on. And it's such a big game tonight. You win, you go through to Sunday's final. You lose, you're out. A lot of people have saying this is like 1992 all over again for Pakistan. And they went on to win that World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. So Shah in again. He bowls to Conway. Conway, this one short, pulls away through square leg in front of square on the leg side for 4 runs. That's his first boundary. And New Zealand starting to put the foot down a little bit here. Joy, you say, what will be a par total on this pitch? Well, Joy, we can have a look at the stats and we can talk about that. Now, here at the SCG, a lot of teams have scored 200 plus batting first in T20 Internationals. Usually when you bat first here, it's usually a good surface. If you can get that sort of total, most teams don't chase it down. Good boundary there from Conway. The successful run chases here. 198 was chased down by India as Shah's in again to Conway. Conway, this nearly went back onto his stumps. He defended the ball and it trickled back nearly onto the stumps and he was nearly bowled. In the end, no damage done. He still survives as a dot ball. So as you say, Joy, 170, 180, I would say that because it hasn't really been chased down all that often in this T20 World Cup here at the SCG. So if you get a score of 170, 180, most teams haven't chased it down thus far here at the SCG in this T20 World Cup. So the highest ever run chase was 198, and that was India. Chased that down against Australia in 2016. So that is the highest total there. As Naseem bowls to Conway. Conway advances down the pitch, hits this over mid-wicket for 4 runs. Very good shot. So I hope that answers your question there, Joy. So 170, 180 should be a good score for New Zealand. Hello, Han. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining us. Very good morning over there in the UK, Han. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're well. And also thank you, everyone, for joining us. And that was the end of the over. And New Zealand starting to motor after the early wicket of Finn Allen. There was some good bowling from from Shaheen Shah Afridi. The left arm is swinging the ball back in to the right-hander in Finn Allen. Let us know in the chat, who do you think is going to win tonight? I'm going for New Zealand. As you can tell, I usually support Australia, but Australia's not here, are they? So I'm going for New Zealand tonight. Come on, New Zealand, let's get the job done. I would like to see them win a tournament. They deserve one. They're the only team who hasn't won a tournament out of the final 4. So 1 for 14 after 2 here at the SCG. And Pakistan looking to get some wickets. They need a lot of wickets in this power play. Afridi in, bowls to Williamson. This one's full, outside off stump. Driven through the covers from Williamson for a boundary. Won't get there. They'll come back for 2, maybe 3. They'll come back for 3 runs. Good running from Williamson and Conway. Han says, I'm going for New Zealand too. Yep. I probably won't be going for England tomorrow, Han, but I did say they may win that game tomorrow, which is a bit hard for me to say, but they could do it. England tomorrow against India at the Adelaide Oval. That's the second semi-final. Joy says, what's the highest run chase in this World Cup? I'm not sure, Joy. I can't really remember. If you're talking about the highest run chase successfully, then I have to look at the stats. But unsuccessfully, I think Australia's run chase against New Zealand here in Sydney when they had to chase 200 plus. You probably think Bangladesh chasing 200 against South Africa here as well. As Afridi in again to Conway. Bowls. This one's full. Trapped Conway on the pads. An appeal for LBW. This one's going down leg, I think, and it's a dot ball. To me, it was going down leg with the angle, the left armer bowling over the wicket to the left-hander. You have to swing it back if you're bowling that sort of line and that angle. So that one was going down leg for me. I'm not sure, Joy. You have to look at the stats there. Joy says, as an Indian fan, I would rather see Pakistan in final than New Zealand. Well, that's understandable, Joy. It's set up perfectly for an India and Pakistan final in Melbourne. We'll get to your comment in a minute. As Afridi in to Conway. Bowls. This one's full. Driven to mid-on from Conway, and it's a dot ball. Is there any threat of rain? No, Han. It's pretty clear in Sydney. Pretty good in Adelaide tomorrow. It was quite a scorcher today, actually. Obviously, me being from Adelaide, it's very hot at the moment. I am sweltering at the moment. It's been such good weather after the rain and the miserable weather we've had. But if you're talking about the final on Sunday, Han, doesn't look good in Melbourne. It looks like it could rain. And it could rain again on the reserve day as Afridi bowls to Conway. Conway pulls this through square leg for a single. He moves on to 10. Williamson's on 4. We've got 2 balls left of the third over. So I think a lot of people will be very angry if the final gets washed out on both days. Even on the reserve day, most people will be not happy about that. When I was on Cricket for Americans stream with Gabe, obviously a few days ago for India and Zimbabwe, he lost his mind when he said, you have joint winners if the reserve day gets washed out. That's what happens if you can't play the game on the reserve day if it gets rained out. So Afridi in again to Williamson. Past the umpire, he bowls. This one short. Williamson guides this behind square on the offside. Down to third man for a single. That's what Williamson does, an accumulator of runs. Hart says, as a fan of cricket, captains having 2 eyebrows and not 1, I cannot cheer for Pakistan. Well, 1 for 19 for New Zealand, 1 ball left of the third over. It's been a very sedate start. It hasn't been a start of aggressiveness. Losing the early wicket of Allen. He hasn't really got going. Afridi in, last ball the over. Traps Conway on the pads again. An appeal for LBW, turned down by Marais Erasmus. He says not out. It's the end of the over. It's 1 for 19 after 3. So fingers crossed. Let's hope it doesn't rain on Sunday. But most people say the weather's dreadful. Hans says Gabe never had a mind to lose in the first place. Well, he did lose his mind when people did tell him about that. Well, it does happen. It's in the playing conditions. If people remember what happened in 2002 Champions Trophy, Sri Lanka and India shared the trophy after the reserve day got washed out. Could be the same here for the first time in a T20 World Cup ever. Let's hope it's not the case. We know the semi-finals won't be affected by rain. It's just the final in Melbourne that will be affected in some sort of capacity. Harris Ralph replaces Naseem Shah for the 4th over of the power play. He's had a pretty good T20 World Cup. Ralph bowls good pace, and he'll be looking to get a breakthrough here. Very quiet start from New Zealand. And as we had a look at the successful run chases, the unsuccessful chases, and what I've talked about before, if New Zealand get a score of 170 plus, they'll take that. They'll be comfortable with that. As Ralph in to Williamson bowls. This one's full. Williamson drives this to mid-on. Bit of a misfield there from the fielder at mid-on. They'll come back for 2 runs. A bit sloppy from Pakistan. They can't afford to do that. Their fielding needs to be on it tonight. They can't concede easy runs like that, and that was a knock-on. Not good fielding there from mid-on, which was Shadab Khan. Joy. It's too hard to cheer for Pakistan for me as well, but looking at India's abysmal record against New Zealand in ICC tournaments, I would like if India doesn't have to face them in the final. Well, you may not face them in the final, Joy. It depends. Maybe India may lose tomorrow. You never know. It's anyone's game in a semi-final. Hans says, I said to Gabe that if USA somehow got to the final in the next T20 World Cup and ended up sharing, Gabe would change his tune and think it was fair. Well, he probably will say that if the USA did manage to do that, Han. I don't know what's the weather going to be like in 2 years' time. We can't really predict that far. Depends what time of year you have it in the Caribbean and also in the US because of the weather patterns. But, this tournament, yes, a lot of people have had a go about the rain. I know Nick and Gabe weren't happy about the games being abandoned and Duckworth-Lewis and net run rates. And if you saw their latest video today, which I did, when they were previewing these semi-finals, they made some good points in their discussions. But that's just the way it is in cricket, and as cricket fans, we accept that. And there's no other alternative. If there is, we'll take it, but there isn't at the moment. I think coming from a different sporting background, in America, you expect results, whereas in cricket, you have draws and ties and you have no results, and people are okay with that. As Ralph into Williamson, this one's fallen defended to mid-wicket for no run. Williamson 7 off 6, Conway 10 off 11. 1 for 21 for New Zealand. I think most people will be glad when this T20 World Cup is over. Definitely I will be, seeing that Australia played so poorly in this tournament. A lot of people criticising the team. Rightly so. Bit of a rethink going into 2024. Ralph in again to Williamson. This one's worked off his pads through square leg for a single. Williamson doing his thing, accumulating runs as always. He'll be looking to get off strike. And how many times we've seen this in a game of cricket where someone walks behind the side screen, and as soon as Williamson faced the ball, a couple of people walked behind the side screen. It's not that hard to not walk behind the side screen. We always see those delays in the game, which are necessary, and people should know that, don't walk behind the side screen. It's quite frustrating for everyone. Ralph in again to Conway. This one's full, punched down to mid-off for a single. Shadab Khan throws the ball back to Mohammad Rizwan. And in the end, New Zealand come through for a single. Arndt says, I think the weather will be okay in the US. If you use England as a reference, then Florida is as far as south of here as Egypt is. Texas is similar, so it is much warmer and drier there. Yes, I haven't really seen where the venues are going to be in the US for that T20 World Cup. If it's in Florida, then that's a different story. They usually have hurricanes and all that come through there. Ralph into Williamson. Williamson punches this to mid-off for no run. New Zealand going at 6 runs and over, which is an okay start in the power play. Lost the early wicket of Allen. Hahn says, as long as they avoid hurricane season, it should be okay. Yes, that's the main thing there. Let's hope they don't schedule it during that time of year. John says, ground conditions don't come into for Major League Baseball and NFL unless it's a blizzard or flood. CFA are comparing apples and oranges, but can't be convinced. Yeah, I know they are, John. It's just they come from that different background where in baseball, you're really not really relying on the elements. It's more hand-eye coordination as a batter in baseball, whereas in cricket, as a batter, you're reacting to what the ball does in the air and off the pitch. And the pitch is a big part of the game of cricket, isn't it? So conditions do come into it a lot in cricket. Ralph in. This one's full and defended, dug out by Williamson for a dot. It's the end of the over. It's 1 for 23 after 4. We've got 2 overs left of the power play. But yeah, it's just hard for Nick and Gabe to grasp that we're okay with it in cricket. And, you know, that's just the way it goes in cricket. You can't really play if it's wet. You don't want players slipping and sliding in the outfield and, you know, getting injuries in that. So, yeah. But I guess they're frustrated and obviously they wanted to vent that frustration, which is fine, because it has been a big factor in this tournament, the rain. Hans says, people get the notion that USA is directly west of the UK, but if you went due west of here, you end up in the colder cities in Canada. US is much further south, more level with Spain. Is it? I didn't know that. Thank you for that, Han. Geography lesson there. Mohammad Wasim. He's 21 years old. He's into the attack. Shaheen Afridi bowled 2 overs. He's out of the attack. So that's Pakistan's game plan. And he bowls very quick as well. He's running in now, bowling to Conway. Runs up, bowls. This one's short. Conway pulls it to short, fine leg. They'll curry through for a single, and they'll get the single. Gaming Crab, laughing, crying emoji there. John says, plus bowlers run up, the ball getting sodden and hard to grip. Yes, that's right. And it's very hard to do that, isn't it? So it's very hard for a bowler to grip the ball. So cricket is a game where weather does come into it in terms of how you approach playing a game, but also thinking about other elements as well. And that's just the way it is in cricket. Wasim in again to Williamson. This one short, worked away to short fine leg, I should say, for a single. Nearly carried to the fielder, but in the end it fell safe. In the end, they get a single. New Zealand, they're 1 for 25 in the semi-final. Garaf says, hello. Hello, Garaf. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining us. Han says, NFL is a stupid sport for Nick and Kay to bring up to compare to cricket. Rugby is the analog, and they play in all kinds of weather too. Yeah, they do. Wasim in again to Conway. Bowls. This one short. Conway tried to work it through the covers. Inside edge, and it goes behind square on the leg side, and they'll come through for a single direct hit, but I think he was safe. Maria Erasmus is tapping the stumps back in, trying to straighten them and make sure they're lined up perfectly, as you do as an umpire. That was a very good throw from Naseem Shah. Did the fielding there. He was well safe, well in his ground. Conway, no damage done. Another single for New Zealand. Yeah. And also they compared the coin toss as well in those discussions they had, Nick and Gabe. And as Wasim bowls to Williamson, works this through square leg for a couple of runs. The sweeper will come around to cut it off for 2. And that's good running. Whereas in cricket, that's the only way we can decide whether you're going to bat or bowl first. Whereas in other sports like rugby, soccer, or football, for those people who call it like that, the coin toss doesn't really matter. You only choose which side you're kicking to or which goal you want to have in the first half or something like that. It's the same thing in AFL football as well. The toss doesn't really matter. Or it depends if there's wind around. You don't want to be kicking into the wind. As Wasim bows to Williamson, this one's worked to deep square leg for 1. Bit of a fumble there, but in the end, it doesn't cost them any more runs. In the end, it's a single. Hans says, Jack, final comment, USA. Imagine New York is Melbourne, then Miami is like Perth or Brisbane in terms of distance/climate, where Nick and Gabe live is like Darwin. Oh, yeah. I can imagine that, yeah. So it's, in reality, it's not really that, not that far, really. Well, Darwin is far away from Adelaide. I can't remember off the top of my head how far it's away, but not that far. Wasim bowls to Conway. This one's short. Conway tried to pull through square leg. In the end, it goes through down to short third man for a single. It's the end of the over. And New Zealand going along steadily in the power play. As I said, they lost Finn Allen early. And Williamson, it'll be interesting to see how he plays tonight, Williamson. He played well against Ireland. And a lot of people criticised him for his innings against England. And let's see tonight, will he be that aggressive sort of player with the bat? They can't rely on Glenn Phillips, New Zealand. You know, Conway, Williamson, Mitchell, Neesham need to stand up. Finn Allen's out now, so it doesn't really matter for him. His night's over. But those other batters need to stand up if New Zealand are to post a big score today. Garaf, you say this wicket looks a little slow. New Zealand need to score at least 160. Conway, Williamson, both same style player. Yes, you're right there, Garaf. Anything 170, 180, even up 190, I think is a good score here in Sydney, because we've seen in this T20 World Cup, most teams haven't chased down a total in Sydney. Ralph into the attack, bowls to Conway, and Conway launches this over the offside, down to the cover boundary for 4 runs. He's starting to get motoring now. Very good shot, went down the pitch. And hit that over cover through the cover boundary for 4. 1 bounce, 4 runs. Hans says, Gabe and Nick need to understand that all cricket laws came about when they only used a red ball, which is much harder to see than a white ball against grass, trees, and stands, etc. Yes, that's right, Han. As Ralph bowls to Conway, this one's short. Conway works it in the covers for a quick single. That's good batting. Hit the boundary, get the single. And yeah, that's right. Obviously, back then, they only played one style of cricket. Obviously, that was first-class cricket, test cricket, where you had a red ball, whereas now one-day cricket's come into the equation. It's a bit different. But I did suggest something to Nick and Gabe, that they should read the laws. I found something that would help them understand the laws a lot better, Han, as Ralph bowls to Williamson. This one's 4. Williamson works it to mid-on for a single. The MCC website have an e-learning program that I use, and you can sign up for free. Anyone can create an account. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. And that's a perfect example of to understand the laws fully. And I did send it to Nick and Gabe once, I think, ages ago, to say, well, you know, if you do this e-learning module sort of thing, it will make you understand the laws a lot better. And they're just starting to learn the game and starting to grasp what the laws are and all that. And it's very complicated for someone who hasn't really watched the game before. Ralph bowls to Conway. This one's short, pulled away behind square on the leg side for a couple of runs. And he moves on to 21. But yes, for them, it's a little bit harder for them to grasp certain laws in the game. John says, where Nick and Gabe is, more like the Alice. Well, yes, Alice Springs. It's not that far away from Adelaide in the Northern Territory there, right in the middle of Australia. Han says, they don't seem to understand that it is a safety issue. Yeah, it is. That's what I try to tell Gabe as well, Han. As Ralph comes in, bowls to Conway. This one's short. Conway defends it back down the pitch for no run. 1 ball left of the power play. Yeah, it is a safety issue because you can't play on a wet outfield. You can't play if the pitch is wet. Well, they did back in the old days because they didn't care about safety back in the old days. They played on uncovered pitches and everything was fine. Whereas now, we got covers now and you don't do that. So player safety is important, especially when Gabe was trying to compare the Australia-England game. Both teams were never going to play that game because the outfield was so wet and soaked. The umpires were concerned about the wet spots as well. So as Ralph bowls to Conway, this one's full, driven to mid-off, quick single, direct hit. Is he run out? I think he is. Shadab Khan was the fielder. I think he's out. We're going upstairs. It looked pretty close, but it's a direct hit. Let's see. Usually direct hits are usually close than they actually are. But Pakistan looked pretty happy. Shadab Khan was celebrating. Let's see what the replay reveals, and we'll determine Devon Conway's fate. Good pick up and throw from Shadab Khan. Oh, yeah, he's gone by miles. Yeah, that's gone. Yeah, see you later, Devon Conway. He's gone. Run out. Yep, he hasn't made his ground. That bat's not behind the popping crease. That's the end of Devon Conway. He's got to go. New Zealand lose their second wicket. And they're 2 for 38 after the power play. Devon Conway run out. Oh, New Zealand, this is not what they wanted. They can't afford to lose early wickets. Now, Glenn Phillips, what can he do? We'll get to the comments in the chat. But going back to your point there, Han, yes. For them, it's very hard to grasp the safety aspect. And as an umpire, you have to balance all that. So, I sort of felt for the umpires in this tournament because they had to make some decisions. I think the game against South Africa and Zimbabwe was a bit ludicrous, I think. Players were slipping. I think we took it far in that game. So you have to balance that. And obviously, if Nick and Gabe saw that game against South Africa and Zimbabwe and said, you can't play on a wet outfield, look what happened in that game, everyone was slipping and sliding, then that's where you say, oh, it's a little bit too dangerous. So they just haven't seemed to grasp that safety aspect when it comes to weather and if the outfield's fit for play or not. Marais Erasmus signalling the end of the power play. Making the circle motion with his arm. Joy says, which team has best fast bowling lineup in the semi-finalist teams? Well, I would have said South Africa if they qualified. But as we know, South Africa, yet again, stuffed it up. I'm not too sure, Joy. I don't think there have been too many of these teams that have had express fast bowlers. I'm guessing England's already... They have Mark Wood. He's quick out of the whole lot, I think, out of all the teams. Shadab Khan into the attack, bit of spin. Bowls to Phillips. He's on strike. Works it through the covers for a quick single. He's off. Glenn Phillips reminds me of the Road Runner running away from the coyote in the cartoons, obviously, back in the day. He's very quick. And that was a good run out from Shadab Khan. I'm not sure, Joy. All of their bowlers are good. They're skillful. They know their roles. I think Mark Wood's the only quick bowler that I can see. As Shadab Khan bowls to Williamson, this one's worked for a mid-wicket for a single. They're looking for 2, and they'll come back for 2. That's good run. No, in the end, they settle for 1. That's a good decision. I'm not sure about that, Joy. The bowling attacks are pretty good. I think the only one who's got express pace is Mark Wood. Everyone else is a bit sort of the same level, a bit there. So probably England, given that they've got Mark Wood with that X factor. And Sam Curran's been bowling well as well. And that's a good shot from Phillips. Cuts away through the point boundary for 4. And that was short and wide outside off stump. Good shot from Phillips. And he cut that ball nicely through point for 4 runs. And that was a wrong one. The back of the hand went straight on. Picked it well. Hunt says, even in the early white ball games, it was still 50 overs. And when that ball got dirty and scuffed up, it turned light brown. It was hard to see too. Yes, they did. As Shadab Khan bowls to Phillips. Phillips defends back down the pitch for a single. Well, Matthew Hayden looking pumped. Obviously, mentor with Pakistan in this T20 World Cup. Khan in to Phillips. Cuts this behind square to backward point for no run. Good fielding from Ithaqa Ahmed. Yeah, and even during World Series cricket as well, Han, when they played with the white ball, they had to paint the ball on. They had to paint the white paint onto the ball because they were using red balls still. And that's an interesting story during World Series cricket times. Khan in to Phillips. Phillips defends the point and there's no run. It's the end of the over. It's 2 for 40, 4 after 7. New Zealand, they need some acceleration here in this semi-final. John says playing on sticky. Yes, or another term for a sticky wicket, a wet dog, which many people used back in the day. We played on a sticky wicket or a wet dog. Not pleasant. That's why you always bat first when you're playing in games with uncovered wickets, because then if it rains and you're batting second, you don't want to be in that position. So, as we saw back in the old days when they didn't play with covers. How far the game has changed and evolved over the many years. Hans says they also don't seem these days in bad light to say the camera makes it look lighter than it is and then adjust the camera to show how dark it really is. I've got an interesting response to that, Han, and I'll come back to that after this. As I hate it when they don't show up the bowler's name. Here we go. Nawaz into the attack to Williamson. Bowls. This one's worked off his pads down to mid-wicket for a single. Yeah, that's right, Han. When I interviewed Daryl Harper on the podcast last year, we talked about bad light. And he talked about that, how the camera makes it look better than it is, or makes it a lot better than it actually is. And obviously light meters are different as well. Both ends of the ground are different in illumination. So one end's a lot brighter, the other end's a lot dimmer, he said. As Nawaz bowls to Phillips, and Phillips hits it straight back to Nawaz for a dot ball, nearly a run out. Williamson was out of his ground. So, yeah, that's the thing with bad light in that. And we had a very good discussion about that in the interview that I did with him, Han. So if you can watch that, then it'll explain everything when it comes to bad light. Because he made some very good points there, Daryl Harper, because we talked about how can we improve that situation in test matches these days. As Nawaz bowls to Phillips, works it through mid-wicket for a couple of runs. No, just a single. He's pretty quick. John says, how many knee injuries have we seen in the outfield when a foot digs into the turf? Yes, we see it all the time, especially if the outfield's a little bit soggy. Yeah, it's very important just to balance that player safety element as an umpire. You want to try and get the game on, but you want to make sure the players are safe. Nawaz bowls to Williamson. This one's a full toss, and it's worked to mid-wicket for a couple of runs. Good running there from Phillips and Williamson. It's quite quick, Phillips. Jihan says, hey, Jack, do you agree with Gabe's sentiment that if JL was coach, he would have overruled the umpires and made Australia play in the pouring rain? Jihan, it would have been an umpire's decision still. It didn't matter if the coaches said, let's just get a game on or whatever. I don't think they have much of an influence when it comes to that. It's up to the umpires at the end of the day to decide whether or not the ground's fit for play or not. Nawaz into Williamson, works this behind square on the leg side for a single. So, yeah, maybe Gabe was just saying that because he thought, well, JL's a very intimidating person and he would have made people change their minds. But it didn't even matter if JL was there or not, because at the end of the day, Jihan, you've got to remember it's up to the umpires. They're the judges of whether or not the outfield or the field of play is fit for play. And they will have the final decision. They will not be influenced by anyone else. Nawaz bowls to Phillips and he's chipped it straight back to him. That's the big wicket. And New Zealand are 3 for 49 at the end of the 8th over. That's a big wicket. Oh, New Zealand. Whoa. Pakistan are jubilant. They're celebrating. Glenn Phillips chipped it straight back to Nawaz, an easy caught and bowled. And he was disgusted with himself there, Phillips. Oh, dear, for New Zealand. This is not going to plan. Come on, New Zealand. Phillips, the big wicket, he's gone for 6. It's got to be someone else to stand up for New Zealand today, and it's not going to be Phillips. End of the over, it's 3:48 after 8. So going back to your question there, Jihan, it's purely an umpire's decision, not, JL's decision or a coach's decision. It's the umpires that make the decision at the end of the day when it comes to whether we should be playing or not. because the umpires, that's their job. They're the judges of fair and unfair play, and also if the outfield's fit for play or not. Graf says, good shot. Jihan says, Harris Ralph was hitting 150 kilometers plus. Yes, he was. He's bowled quite fast. Hans says, to truly understand the US mentality, they ban Kinder eggs because the toys inside were a choking hazard. Yeah, the rest of the world somehow manages. Daryl Mitchell, new batter in at the crease. He hasn't really done much in this T20 World Cup. 56 runs and an average of 28 and a strike rate of 112. That's not really productive. And he's got to get a score here today. Shadab Khan into Williamson. And Williamson hits it straight back to Shadab Khan for a dot ball. Hans says, Jack, today it is clear skies. Yep. So it looks like daylight. Yesterday it was raining and it was so dark that a light had to be used at 10 a.m. Gabe doesn't seem to understand this. As Shadab Khan bowls to Williamson. Williamson works it for a mid-wicket for another single. Well, yes, it doesn't go nighttime over in England for a very long time. So you can play cricket for most of the day over there before light becomes an issue. Pakistan fans, very happy. And why not? Their team's off to a good start. New Zealand 3 for 50 in the outside of the power play. It's all going bad for them at the moment. But let's hope Mitchell and Williamson can do something for New Zealand. They got to. Can't in to Mitchell. Defends it behind square to backward point for no run. Hans says, Gabe only likes jail because it sounds like his second home jail. Joy says, Mitchell and Williamson needs to have a big partnership for New Zealand to make a pass score. Khan into Mitchell. Mitchell works it through the point region for a quick single, and it was nearly a run out, nearly another direct hit. They've been on tonight, Pakistan. They're up and about. They've got the momentum. They've won the last 3 games in a row. Oh, he was gone, Mitchell, of that hit. He was limbering towards the end of the run, but he was home just. Khan in to Williamson, defends it to point for no run. Jihan says, generally when New Zealand get to the semis or final, the other team is playing at their best, so New Zealand's quality gets shown up. Khan in, Williamson works this down to mid-on for a single to end the 9th over. End of the over, 3 for 52 after 9. And New Zealand, what can they get to? What is a competitive total? We've talked about that. Anything 150 plus, 170 plus is a minimum, usually here at the SCG. John says, New Zealand always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Well, they've had some bad luck, New Zealand, but they've been consistent. And I think it was Gabe on one of the videos that Cricket for Americans did, obviously the preview of this semi-finals. He said, well, New Zealand's pretty much everywhere. And they are. They pretty much are a consistent team when it comes to tournaments, but they just can't finish off the job and win at the end of the day, that final hurdle. It's going to be Nawaz to continue. Good first over, 1 for 5 from his first. Mohammad Rizwan. He'll be eager to get some runs with the bat. Here we go. Nawaz into Williamson, works it off his pads through mid-wicket. They'll pick up a single, looking for 2, but in the end, it's only 1. Hans says, at this time of year, the days are getting shorter, getting longer for you. Yes, they are. In a month, it will be only getting light at around about 7:30 a.m. and getting dark at 4 p.m. Thanks for that, Hart. It's quite interesting learning about other countries and that. Yes, here in Australia, we're pretty much in the summer now, so longer days and daylight savings. So you have bright sunshine for a few more extra hours in the day. Nawaz into Mitchell. This one's a full toss. Mitchell works it to wide mid-on there for a single. And he's on 2, moves on to 2. And says, the point about having to use a light at 10 a.m. was that Nick and Gabe don't seem to grasp how much darker rain makes things look. Yes, it does dim the light quite significantly. Nawaz in to Williamson. Bowls. This one's worked off his pads down to mid-on again for a single. New Zealand dealing in singles. We've got 1 over left before the drinks break. And then we'll need to rethink after the 10 over mark. 148, that's probably not going to be enough. You need a lot more runs than that here in Sydney. That's the predicted score at the moment. Need to go at 8 overs to achieve that. Babrazan will be quite happy. He's looking relaxed, but inside he'll be worrying that this game's not over yet. Nawaz to Mitchell, works it for a mid-wicket for a single. Hahn says, if Gabe is the groom, then New Zealand might be the smartest team in history. Garav says, if New Zealand can get to 160, it will be a good game. It's not a flat deck. No, it's not. There's something in it for the bowlers. 2 balls left before the drinks break. Nawaz in to Williamson. Williamson works it for a mid-wicket again for a single. Well, at least Kane Williamson scoring at a better strike rate. He's 23 off 24. So almost a run a ball, basically, for him. He got some criticism in the game against England for not scoring too quickly, and that did happen. He didn't score quickly, and that's how New Zealand didn't chase down those runs against England at the Gabba. So we got a ball left before the 10th over, and then we're going to have a drink. Nawaz in to Mitchell, works it for a mid-wicket for another single. It's the end of the over. It's 3 for 59. They came back for 2 in the end there, so good running. End of the over, 10 overs done. It's time for drinks here at the SCG. It's time for both teams to rethink their strategy as we enter the final 10 overs of this first innings. Arn says, I find it really odd that India and Pakistan can get the ball to swing, but England and New Zealand, who should be enjoying these conditions, aren't able to do it as much. Well, yes, it is. A lot of teams haven't been able to get much swing like Pakistan or India. Maybe it just comes down to conditions or probably the type of ball they're using. It's the same in test matches where you pick a ball that's a lot coarser with the seam pronounced or a lot darker in terms of the lacquer, in terms of the leather they use, the more the ball will swing. So maybe they just had a good batch of balls or something like that. Same principle in Test cricket, obviously, when you're choosing balls for the innings. As most teams do, when the bowlers select the ball, they always look for balls that have a pronounced seam and a darker color when it comes to the lacquer. So drinks here at the SCG, New Zealand 359 after 10. Dr. Jihan says, I still think New Zealand are a team that punches above their weight. The closest they got to winning was the 2019 World Cup. Extraordinary luck that England had prevented them winning that. They also sneaked into the WTC. Yes, they did, and they won that. Because Australia were docked points for over 8. Yes, they were. And this time, Australia will not make that same mistake, Jihan. Australia will be looking to not make that same mistake and really make sure they cement a spot in that WTC final. Han says, maybe you have to really work for it in the subcontinent. So you develop a technique, whereas in England, it just swings anyway, so less technique and more the conditions. Yep, that's right. Because you don't get much swing in the subcontinent, that's for sure. You rely on reverse swing and you rely on spin. Not so much here in Australia. Doesn't really swing much in Australia. But these T20 World Cup pitches with the weather, there has been a bit in it for the bowlers. And we've seen many batters struggle, especially opening the batting. Many teams have struggled with that, and they haven't really done well. So New Zealand 359 after 10. They won the toss. They chose to bat first. Runs on the board, important in a semi-final. They will need a competitive total here. At the moment, they've lost a few wickets they would have liked to not lose. Especially Glenn Phillips was the big one. And Pakistan celebrated that wicket because they knew if he got in, it would have been a different story. So at drinks, both teams are thinking about the strategy. Where to next? for New Zealand. If we knock it around for a couple of overs, keep building the partnership, then if we can take it to the last few overs, then we can accelerate. For Pakistan, it's simple. Take wickets. Just keep taking wickets. Shadab Khan in after drinks. He bowls to Williamson, who works this through mid-wicket for a single. Khan says some players rely on gouging the ball with a bottle cap to get reverse swing. Well, we've seen many things happen over the years with that, Han. Michael Atherton had dirt in his pocket in that test match, didn't he? And those stories about bottle caps and that have been told. Khan into Mitchell, glides his pass backward point for 4 runs. Catchable height. It was nearly a catch. In the end, he got it past in the gap in that backward point region for 4 runs, Mitchell. That's his first boundary. But yes, ball tampering. Yes, it's always been a problem in the game, as we know, as what happened in Cape Town, obviously, with Australia. That wasn't a good look, but it does happen. Khan in to Mitchell, bowls and works this through mid-wicket. Mitchell for a single, for a couple of runs, in the end. So good running there. After you've hit the boundary, make sure you capitalise after hitting the boundary. Han says, shame Atherton didn't have some talent in his pocket. Well, he's quite good as a broadcaster, Han. As a player, a lot of people question his ability. Khan into Mitchell. Short, works it through mid-wicket. In the gap, is it racing away to the boundary? No, it isn't. The sweeper on the leg side does well, cuts it off for a couple of runs. I do like listening to his thoughts on the game, Atherton. He's very knowledgeable. He knows quite a lot about cricket, obviously. Most people tend to agree that he's a good broadcaster and a pundit. I'll get to your question in a minute, Han. Dead ball there from Shadab Khan, pulled out in his follow through there. And Khan in again to Mitchell. Mitchell down the pitch. Hits well down the ground. Pass long on for 4 runs. And Daryl Mitchell starting to put his foot down. He's 17 off 9. This is good for New Zealand. Put pressure back on the Pakistan bowlers. Han, you say, Jack, is there a distinction in the laws between putting something on the ball, saliva, after eating sweets, Vaseline, etc., and physical damaging the ball? Yes, there is, Han. You can usually tell as Khan in to Mitchell, last ball of the over, and works it through point for a single. It's the end of the over. It's 3 for 73 after 11. Yes, there is, Han. You can tell if it's been tampered with any artificial substance. If the new playing conditions now, they've banned saliva altogether, so you have to use your sweat. Because obviously the last 2 years, the ICC said you can't use saliva. So when the ICC thought about the changes to the laws and the playing conditions, they said, let's just keep it the same and ban saliva. You can use saliva. It's a natural substance. But then we've had problems with like players using sweets, like Rahul Dravid used sweets. Faf du Plessis used a sweet, which are artificial sugars. But there's been a lot of people that have said, well, bowlers should be able to, tamper with the ball to get some assistance, obviously. A lot of bowlers have said that. I can understand that because pitches are flat and it's not doing much. But you can tell sort of about that. But there's a lot of grey areas when it comes to sweets and artificial substances and that, and it's something that the ICC need to clear up about. But as an umpire, you can tell if it's been scratched or it's been tampered in some way. As Naseem Shah comes in, this one's short to Mitchell, pulls it behind square to short, fine leg for a quick single. In the end, they make it. But obviously, same with Vaseline and same with sweets as well and all that. So a lot of grey areas there when it comes to ball tampering. It's something that the ICC need to clear up about. But yeah, as an umpire, you inspect the ball randomly. Like during a test match, you inspect it after a couple of overs or something. You just say to the fielder, just pass me the ball. I just want to have a look at it. And that's what you do during a T20 or an ODI as well. Shah, this one's short and driven through the covers for a single from Williamson. Han, you say, I meant more about the sanctions. Oh, okay. Is damaging the ball a worse offence than putting baby oil on the ball? I think it's pretty much the same, Han. I think it's pretty much the same. What happened with Australia with the sandpaper in Cape Town, obviously, I think that's the same punishment for other things that you've made to tamper with the ball. I think it's the same in the laws and playing conditions. I think it's the same punishment, I think. You get suspended and then you come back for a few test matches or something like that. I think now the ICC have changed it, I think. Quick single there. It's a leg bye for New Zealand. So I don't think it's much worse, I don't think. But obviously, as we know in cricket, many teams do it. It's no secret. It's been happening for years, but it just hasn't been caught, obviously. Australia got caught, and rightly so, in South Africa, because that was an absolute, brain fade. Shah into Williamson. This one short, pulled away through mid-wicket. Good fielding from the fielder at long on. Had to come around to cut that off for two. Yes, to say hard. I guess as an umpire, you need to keep an eye on players treading on the ball, dragging it on the ground when picking it up, etc. Yes, you do. You do. And you remind the players, not to step on the ball or not to use your foot. Because some fielders will use their foot with the spikes to stop the ball going from the boundary. So you just ask the players just to make sure you don't do that to damage the ball. But yes, it's something you have to keep an eye out. And that's why you inspect the ball regularly. Shah in. This one short. Williamson works it through mid-wicket for another couple of runs. In the end, it's only a single that we're looking for two. Yes, to say Han, as an umpire, do you need to check a bat to make sure if it's legal? Have you ever seen a bat and thought that doesn't look right? No, I don't have to do that, Han. Not in the competition I do. But if you're talking about first-class cricket, international cricket, you do. I know in county cricket, Nick Maddison, who played for Durham, obviously Nick Maddison is from Australia, he got caught with his bat being over the limit. As Shah bowls to Mitchell, works it through mid-wicket for a couple of runs. Good running, end of the over. It's 3 for 81 after 12. No, I never had to make an inspection or anything like that, Han. But if you're talking about other levels of cricket, yes, you would probably have to do that as an umpire. And you probably say, oh, that tape looks a bit dodgy, or that bat looks a bit funny there. So as an umpire, you just make those inspections. You just have a look through people's kits if you're unsure about it. The direct hit. Yeah, if you want to join, mate, I'll send it through email. Be happy to have you on. Have someone to talk to. I'll send it in a minute. I'll just get through these comments. But just check your email, okay, Aran? Where was I? Sorry, everyone. So many people got questions for me. To go back to your question, Han. Yeah, I've never had to do that. I've only had to do that if you're unsure about something. But as an umpire, you're taught to make sure you inspect everyone's equipment, make sure it's within the laws, within the legal requirements. Wasim into Williamson, pulls it over square leg for 6. My mistake, it well over the rope. What a shot from Williamson. He's starting to get the accelerator going here. Aran, if you're listening, I did send you the link. So it's to your email. So go and check that. But it would be good to have you on. So Wasim's just been hit for 6. Yep. In again, bowls. This one short. Williamson tried to pull it. It's high in the air. An appeal for LBW. Not given by Murray Erasmus. He's unmoved. Looks pretty calm. And he has said not out. Pakistan thinking about a review. In the end, they say, nope. Oh, yes, they have gone upstairs. Sorry. Look, Jihan says Atherton's favourite bowler to face was McGrath and second favourite Ambrose. Yeah. He didn't have a great time against them. Glenn McGrath got him out so many times, didn't he? Gaurav says, great to see some positive cricket. Yes. John says, picking at the seam, Brill cream in the hair. It's all been tried. As soon as you mention Brill cream, reminds me of Richie Beno, John. He used to wear the Brill cream. He used to promote it back in the day for some advertisements. I know he did. But Richie always used to have it in the hair. Looked immaculate. Professional, as always, Richie Beno. An appeal there for court. In the end, it doesn't look like there's any bat involved. There's no bat involved. They'll probably go to ball track and make sure it's not LBW, but it was way, way high. It was probably going over anyway on height, and it sadly won't be checking for LBW, but you do that just to be sure. Hans says, I can't understand his fake accent when he says runs in a London accent. John says, doesn't the laws say something about the sweat of your toil or something? Well, John, going back to that, you can use sweat. It's a natural substance. So you can use sweat. You can't use saliva anymore because that's been banned by the ICC now. So you can use sweat, natural substance. You can use your clothes to shine the ball, but nothing foreign. Wasim bowls to Williamson. This one's a Yorker. Into the pads. In the end, was it a dot ball or a leg? It was in the end. It was a dot ball. They're not going to go upstairs for another appeal here, Pakistan, because they've already wasted a review. Jihan says best to keep Williamson in as long as possible because he'll just have a net. Joy says Williamson needs to score faster now rather than nudging here and there. Yes. John says deliberately thrown it into the pitch. Yes. You have to warn the players about that as well. Wasim into Williamson bowls. This one's full on his pads, works it through square leg for a single. The sweeper would cut it off for one. Yes, you have to warn the players about throwing the ball into the pitch because when they throw the ball back from the boundary, it bounces. More so in test matches, and you'll see umpires have a quiet word and say, keep the throws up, you know. So as an umpire, you have to be across all those things. Gaurav says, what a great shot. Yes, it was a great shot from Williamson for 6. Hans says, I also guess in the professional game that even the clothing has to be checked. I can imagine files having sharp edges, needles in the waistband, etc. Yeah. Wasim bowls to Mitchell. This one's driven to mid-off and a single. No, dot ball in the end, sorry. Good fielding there from Shadab Khan. Gaurav says bad review. John says good thing Merv has long retired. He just used to lick the ball. He's one of the characters, isn't he, Merv Hughes? Joy says, how are they getting reverse swing in T20? Something feels fishy here. Wasim, last ball, if he's over, bowls to Mitchell. This one's full, driven to mid-off for a quick single. In the end, it's the end of the over. It's 3 for 89 after 13. New Zealand just starting to get motoring a little bit here. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Always happy to answer all your umpiring questions that you may have. And it surprises me that a lot of people don't actually want to learn more about umpiring, but it's great to see so many people take an interest in it and seeing that I actually am an umpire and I can actually umpire community games of cricket. because I've got my accreditation. That was in 2019, so I've only been umpiring for a few years. We have a special guest joining us, everyone. Joining me today. I'll get to your question first, Han, before we bring our special guest. As Shadab Khan comes in to Mitchell, bowls. This one's defended to point for a quick single. Han says, are players allowed to wear belts? I can't imagine a buckle being a tempting thing to shine the ball on. No, Han, I don't think you can. I don't think that's allowed in the clothing requirements. The ICC have some clothing requirements that you have to follow. And no, you don't. That's not allowed. So if someone's wearing a belt, you got to say, well, take the belt off, because you can't wear that. This one's guided to long on for a single. We've got a special guest joining us, everyone. It's great to have him back on the podcast. I've been on his channel many times before. He's been on the channel here as well. It's Aran from the Direct Hit joining us. Aran, long time no see.
Yeah, been a bit busy, but like covering games. It starts 2 a.m., 3 a.m. In Canada. So, yeah, it's hard to cover all the games each day.
Yes, it does. But it's good to have someone join me for a change. It's been hard doing these live streams.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming as Shadab Khan gets ready to bowl his fourth ball to Williamson. How do you see the game at the moment? New Zealand 3 for 92.
Yeah, I can see that. I've just restarted my laptop. It was having some glitches. So, yeah.
Shadab Khan bowls to Williamson, works it behind square on the leg side for a single.
I think this is a very slow wicket, not an easy wicket to start. And
I don't know if they're playing on a used wicket. I think
it's a used wicket, I reckon. And it is the same wicket, Jack,
I think it's the same wicket for England.
Used in the very first game, if you remember. Very first game, New Zealand.
What a shot from Mitchell. High in the air. Is it over the rope? It is. Straight back down the ground for 6. Oh. That's 6 runs there. And New Zealand's starting to put on the accelerator here. If you don't mind, Aran, I'll get to some of the comments here. Aran, you say, regarding ball tampering like Cape Town, where it was spotted after the match, what happens in the World Cup if a team is caught by cameras afterwards? That's an interesting question, Han, as Khan bowls to Mitchell. There's an appeal for caught behind, but in the end, I think he missed it completely. It's the end of the over. 3 for 99 after 14. We've got 6 left. Going back to that question, Han. Yeah, if they find it afterwards on the replays, then the ICC will probably go through their procedures and probably ask them, okay, what was happening here? A bit fishy. Something was going on here. So they'll look at that after the game if that happens. But if the umpires pick it up during the game, they'll make a report after the game to say that we saw something untoward with the fielding team tampering.
And then they'll try and pick it up from some like highlights or something, or the repeat telecast, which obviously the broadcasters have, so they have access to that. So then they'll obviously ask for that recording if it comes down to that. But mostly, I think there are plenty of cameras these days. Any that kind of act will be caught in no time if it is to happen. So yeah.
Yes, to say, Han, if the losing team has already left the country, what happens? They'll still do the same process, I would think, Han, as we mentioned before, and then that team will get penalised sufficiently according to the laws and the regulations that the ICC have. That's a very good question there, Han. Shaheen Shahafridi back into the attack.
This is a bit of a desperation. This is a bit of a desperation, I guess, because Babar needs a wicket at the moment to break the partition.
Bowls to Williamson. Williamson inside edge behind to the keeper Rizwan for a dot ball in the end. It was good fielding from Rizwan.
Pakistan have been up to the task in the field. That's for sure, with the way they have.
They have. Han says, I imagine if it was a semi-final, then the cheating team would be disqualified.
There's no point of disqualification because there are only 4 teams left. So what would you even do of disqualification?
Well, if they lost, let's just say if they lost, then you'll just add more salt to the wounds. You've already lost a semi-final.
No, but Jack, one thing can happen. One thing can seriously happen. If for say it's the losing team, right? And they can be disqualified from the upcoming ICC events, not the current one, but the upcoming. So yeah, that can happen.
Yes, they can. How are you feeling about India tomorrow? I know you're an Indian supporter. You're nervous.
This World Cup has gone so well, and I have made no predictions. I went in with no expectations, so same as tomorrow, no expectations. Just enjoying the game.
Oh, that's the right way to go about it.
Yeah.
I said England myself in my preview. I hate to say that because I'm an Australian supporter, obviously. Oh, well, Australia's not here.
But see, we are having a difference. Like Sky has been the difference for us this tournament. So
and Curly, what a return to form he's had. That's a nice boundary from Williamson. Worked behind square on the leg side down to
talking about Virat Kohli. See, people. Okay, I was criticizing Kohli on one thing, not on his form, but on the way that he was getting out. Outside the off stump, that was something disappointing to see for me. That it's happening to him again and again. But I always knew that he'll come good someday. And yeah, nice to see him do wonders.
He already has. Come good as Freedy's in again to Williamson bowls. This one's guided through point, in front of point on the offside for
Jack. What about you guys? The defending champions get knocked out. Very, very surprising. We
sort of deserved it, really.
Yeah,
we didn't really play well, to be honest.
Basically, didn't show up. Basically, the Australia that we knew, the ruthless Australia.
Some players getting on and the selections were poor, like leaving Mitchell Starc out. Don't get me started on that in the last game against Afghanistan. The way we bowled in the last game just summed up the tournament. We weren't.
And I was baffled. I was baffled when Vittori said it was tactical.
Oh, yes. Nothing.
I don't want to use the word, but I was like, what the beep?
Yeah, I was thinking the same way as well. That didn't make sense. A single there from... Sorry, was that a dot? No, in the end, it was a single. We'll get to your question, Han. I think the only thing about England versus India is guessing if Butler gets his 100 before the 10th over. Well, yes, India need to get him out early.
Yeah, there's a certain youngster called Arshdeep Singh, Han, so just watch out for him. Yeah, and for a trivia, Jack, Arshdeep's first IPL wicket, that was also Josh Butler, so who knows?
Yes, and it's the India over. It's 3 for 106 after 15. We've got 5 overs left of this innings.
New Zealand will be targeting anything around 150 to 160 from here. They need to accelerate right now.
Well, they do. So thanks for that, John. Dr. Jihan, you say it was tactical to eliminate Australia to increase New Zealand's chances.
Maybe. Very clever comment.
It was. Hans says, do you think losing Milan hurts England a lot?
No, not at all. I think
so.
It's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, well, you don't wish an injury on anyone.
No, not obviously not wishing injury on anyone, but just the kind of...
If you have someone else that can do the job like Phil Salt, then in a way they don't really lose much, really.
No, but Jack, obviously Milan is not the Milan we know. Milan was looking patchy throughout the tournament, so... That's why I said maybe a blessing in disguise for England.
Harris Ralph. Back in for his third over. Runs up, he bowls to Williamson. Short, pulled away for a mid-wicket from Williamson for a single. They're thinking about 2. They're coming back for 2. Oh, he fumbled the run out there, Ralph. He trying to knock the ball onto the stumps and just collect it cleanly and then gather it. But I think Williamson would have been home anyway. Mitchell in the end because they ran 2. Let's have a look at the replay. Good running. New Zealand starting to up the tempo. Yeah, just didn't collect that cleanly there, Ralph. Let's have a look. Oh, he would have been gone if he did. Pakistan just poor fielding there. Matthew Hayden looking on. He's been the inspiration to this Pakistan team. Ralph in again, bowls to Williamson. This one short, guarded through the covers for a single. Moves on to 46. Kane Williamson scoring a lot quicker than he has done it. It's been criticised.
This was the kind of wicket, Jack, I think, which suited Kane and his style of batting, because again, accumulation of runs through singles and doubles, that's what he's banks on. And I think it was perfect for Kane, the situation that he goes. And now the only question is, can he accelerate? That's the only question left.
Well, he's 46 off 41, so his strike rate's improved. Ralph into Mitchell. This is high into the air on the offside, and the fielder at mid-off could not take the catch. It was Babar Azam, the captain. They'll come back for a couple of runs.
And he has dropped it, right? He's dropped the catch.
I think he just misjudged it in the end, looking on what I've seen there. Let's have a look. It was not time for Mitchell, straight up in the air. And no, it just landed in front of him. So he misjudged it there. Just landed in front of him. He didn't get a hand to it. So it's not a drop catch there. So Daryl Mitchell, he hasn't done much in this tournament. And I said before this game,
Jack, if you score a 50 in the semi and win the game, no one remembers what you did in the league stage. These are the main games. So yeah.
Well, that's right, but New Zealand's batting's been a bit up and down.
They don't have the batting till now. Their batting finishes after Nisham, so they
yes, pretty much.
They're taking that risk throughout right from the start, playing an extra bowler. So yeah.
Han, sorry, we get to your question. Will they replace Marn with a bowler and not a batter? The Sky TV pundits want Jordan to come in. I did watch that today, Han. They did say, well, maybe Butler wants Jordan to come in and be a bowler and a batter.
Since Wood is not there, Jordan is the most likely replacement for you.
Because he's in doubt as well, Mark Wood, because he's a bit stiff and sore. I think he'll play. I think England want him to play in a big game.
Looking from Butler's comments, he might not play.
No, if that's the case, well, they'll go with Salt for Milan if he's not fit, which looks likely. And they'll go with Jordan if Wood doesn't play. Yes. So, everyone, if you just joined us, my guest, I didn't know he was going to come on, but he just said, oh, I'll come on. It's Iran from the Direct Hit, everyone. So go and support Iran's channel.
Thank you.
Hit. He's been on the channel before. Say hello to him. Make him feel welcome.
Thank you. John, Han, and everybody, thank you for your questions.
And that's the end of the over. It's the dot board. It's the end of the over. Sorry. Yeah, end of the over.
Since the IPL retentions have been, they're so close, so I've been busy on that end as well. Lists are going to come out. The players who are retained by the sides.
The auction is coming, isn't it? We'll get to the questions. John, I'll get to your question in a minute. Gabe, how are you, Gabe? Gabe from Cricket for Americans is saying, oh, my Pakistan holding court. They are, Gabe.
Yeah,
they are.
Gabe. Yeah.
They are.
I'm sure Gabe wasn't too happy when West Indies got knocked out, right? In the first round.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't, but everyone expected that to happen, and it's sad where the West Indies are at the moment. But good to see you in the chat, Gabe. Hope you're well.
Hi, Gabe.
And Pakistan doing a good job. New Zealand, they need an acceleration here. But thanks, Gabe. Appreciate it.
But Jack, I don't think this is a 160 pitch. Even anything around 150 might be a par.
The batters have struggled for timing there. Gabe says, just getting off work. What's up, guys? That's good to hear, Gabe. No, I'm well, Gabe. I'm well. Yeah, bit of a laid-back stream today, seeing that Australia's not in the semis. So enjoying cricket and just don't have to stress about Australia not doing well. But I checked out the latest video that you did, Gabe, with Nick.
It was great. I also saw that, Gabe.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good.
So I watched that this afternoon before tonight's game. But appreciate it, Gabe. As always, make sure you go subscribe to Cricket for Americans. Support Nick and Gabe. They're doing great work. And good to see you as always, Gabe. And thanks for dropping by. John, get back to your question. Sandpaper Gate as they run a leg by. Apparently, South Africa couldn't understand all the fuss in Australia. As far as they were concerned, Australia got caught and the ICC handled it. Pretty much, John. And it shouldn't have happened, but it did. The less spoken about it, the better, I feel like. Not a great time. As Afridi's into Mitchell, to Williamson, and Bolden. He tried to lap it over down to fine leg, Williamson. In the end, he gets bowled. And that's not what they wanted, New Zealand. They're 4 for 117.
This will make a difference of about 10 to 15 runs easily with Williamson getting out.
And he just rolled his fingers across that one. Afridi took the pace off, hit the top of leg stump. So Afridi in the wickets again. And that is the end of Kane Williamson. He's gone for 46. He's bowled by Afridi. It's 4 for 117. Or for our international viewers, 117 for 4. In Australia, we just say it the other way around.
Yeah.
We've always said that from day dot. Gabe says, not good for New Zealand. No, Gabe, no. This is not what I want. I want New Zealand to win. My heart is saying New Zealand. I'm even wearing grey. But my head is saying Indo-Pakistan. Well, I've got a New Zealand flag and a New Zealand shirt.
No, whatever you've got. My heart is saying New Zealand. My mind is saying India-Pakistan final. India-Pakistan final.
Of course. You want to say that. Well, what a game that was in the first.
You won't believe this, but it is true that at 3 a.m. around 500 India and Pakistan fans, they showed up and we did a screening at our university. It was crazy. It was a crazy atmosphere here.
Yeah, I did see that. It was unreal. Yeah. They were celebrating. Dr. Jihan, Jimmy Neesham, you batter at the crease. You say, unless England get Yadav and Curly out earlier, I can't see England beating India. What are your thoughts on that?
You don't. I'm getting a gut feeling. I might be completely wrong, but I'm getting a gut feeling. Rishabh Pant might do something silly, and he might just blast England out.
Well, he came in for the last game, didn't he? And he should come in for the semi-final.
He is gonna play. He is gonna play like. So Williamson apparently signaled towards square leg after he got out. He's like, I want to play that towards square leg. But sir, you're playing a lap shot and that's not anywhere close. That's gone past cover. Should be a boundary. If there's no sweeper, there is a sweeper. So should be a couple of runs. Yeah.
Yes, he wanted to hit that square on the leg side. But in the end,
How can you... if you're playing a lap shot, it can't go to square.
It's not going to go that square if you're playing a lap shot. It's just going to go over the keeper's head down the fine leg of third man.
Oh, There's only one man who has a patent copyright on the sweeps. That's Sky at the moment.
Hans says Woke's getting Sky out for a duck as the dream game will explode. Well, I think Nick
on the leg side flicked away. Man is 2 in front, and Pakistan have been. I don't know. They fielded their best since the inception of their cricket. It seems. Yeah.
You're a little bit ahead of me. So I haven't seen that yet.
That should not be the case because I am in Canada and I'm on Hotstar. So you're in Australia. So
yes, well, the game's actually here, but you know how TV is, and that's worked away through square leg for a couple of runs. The sweeper cuts it off. Gabe says, "What's a defendable?" Sorry. Can't get defendable score on this pitch. Well, Gabe,
anything above 140, 150.
Anything above, 140 plus, 160, 170. Teams
170. Are they going to get to 170? I don't think so.
Well, we've got the stats here, Iran. I've got the table prepared. The highest run chasers there. So anything 140 plus should be enough. This pitch is a little bit slow.
I mean, when I looked at the toss, it seems so. And the point, Jack, there is no grass on the wicket. So expect it to get slower.
So, yeah, if New Zealand can get 150 plus.
Yeah, that should be a par. That should be a par score.
It's the end of the over. So I hope that answers your question there, Gabe. So anything 140 plus. And we've seen in this T20 World Cup around teams batting here at the SCG, there's only one team that's chased down the total, and that was England against Sri Lanka.
I mean, in this World Cup, it's been that kind of a trend. You see, if if you pull out your power play stats, teams haven't got off to a flyer. So that's been the same case. And that's the thing. The 160, they're not going to reach 160 until Pakistan bowl a horrendous over. So
yeah, it looks a bit unlikely there, but you never know. 3 overs left. Jimmy Neesham can hit the ball
just over 4 runs. Mitchell goes over cover. Lovely. Shadab Khan is struggling. Shadab has had three dives. He's struggling with his groin. I think he's gone. Shadab Khan, with the way he's acting, and that's a good effort.
Oh,
but
did he pull a groin there? I haven't seen it. It's going to be.
He pulled it on the force. If you remember, yeah.
He bowls to Mitchell, and Mitchell drives this past mid off for 4. And yep, Shadab Khan looks a little bit ginger there, but it's a much needed boundary for the New Zealanders. Good shot over extra cover, I should say.
Yeah.
And
single, next ball, single down.
Slower ball there.
He's bowling all the back of the hands this over. There's no way he's giving pace. And he's bowled two back of
pace off. And Shadab Khan didn't look good there. He's definitely the important batter for Pakistan.
In Mohit Sharma, if you remember that Indian bowler Mohit Sharma, he had a very good back of a hand.
It's pulled away through square leg for a single.
Yeah.
And New Zealand 4 for 128. Where was I with the comments? Sorry, everyone. Jihan says, nice little test match innings there from Williamson.
No, I don't think so. I won't really criticize that innings on that pitch. He really held the fort for New Zealand. They wouldn't have been here if it was not for Williamson. So.
Hans says, Jack needs a Richard Hadley moustache. His support for New Zealand. Well, I do have a moustache.
That should be full. That should
grow it like
covered up nicely. Slightly finer would have been for, but yeah.
But appreciate that, Han, obviously. But there's some very good mustaches in world cricket. Obviously, Richard Hadley,
Shikhar Dhawan.
Yeah, Shikhar Dhawan. He's got a mustache. Naseem in short. Neesham pulls
single.
Behind square on the legs, behind square on the offside for a single.
Shadab has been expensive compared to his last games. He's gone at 8.2. So,
says Gabe heard the word groin in his ears.
The running 2 could be risky, but the poor throw enables them to get to 2. So 131 for 4. Jack, do you think New Zealand will use these conditions really well since they are slightly slow and
yes, I would think they would know what Pakistan have done with the ball and adapt to that. This one's punched down the ground to mid off for a couple of runs from Mitchell. Sorry, mid on, I should say.
Darryl Mitchell has played at a very, very healthy strike rate, guys. Not an easy job on this pitch.
No, so he's done well, 45 of 28. Hans says Dom Bess has the best.
And he's nicely weighted, swatted it. So again, he's bowling. Naseem's control is immaculate on these back of hand slower balls that he's bowling.
All right, I'll just get to the comments. Han, you say Dom Bess has the best back of the hand delivery of all time. Okay, the ball lands nowhere near the wicket, but what a technique.
Yeah, I know what he's saying. Yeah.
Naseem Shah to Mitchell. Short, pulled away behind square on the leg side for 1. Gabe says 131 getting close. Well, they've just gone past that, Gabe. So if they can get 140, anything 140, then that's a good score. It's not a typical SCG wicket. Bit slow, struggling for timing. Gabe says, Dom who? Yeah. Han says, Bolt is a danger in any conditions. He is, especially with that ball swinging. And this has worked through the covers for a quick single. It's the end of the over. And it's 4 for 133. We've got 2 overs left. How have you seen this World Cup thus far? Iran.
The best I've seen.
How do you think this World Cup's going?
This is the best. This was the best. This was the best I've seen in a long time. Pure contest between bat and ball. Each ground was different. Teams teams had to adjust. It was a lovely World Cup starting from the Namibia-Sri Lanka game. Best I've seen in a long time.
Ant says they got 10 off the last server.
Yeah,
they did.
So Harris runs in, Harris to Nisham around the wicket, and slower short ball connected, but should be a single. Is a single.
Starting to get that acceleration there. All right, then. Start of the 18th over. Haris Rauf's got the ball in hand. He's going to be he's going to be bowling to Nisham. So he's going to bowl his last server here. Here we go. Rauf into Nisham. Bowls. This one short. Outside off stump. Pulled away through square leg from Nisham for 1. He moves on to 8. 9 off 7. John says this pitch is playing slower than I expected and looking a little worse for wear. Well, it is, especially if it's a used surface, which this pitch was used for the game against England and Sri Lanka. So it is going to wear and tear a little bit.
Oh, shot! Straight as an arrow. Should be 4. Isn't. It's a 2. Nice fielding from Afridi. And 2 for Mitchell. So, yeah.
It's definitely not a quick surface here at the SCG, but nonetheless, we should get a competitive game. Rauf, he's in again, bowls to Mitchell. This one's full and driven. Straight back down the ground. Long on will cut it off. Shane Afridi does the fielding. They'll cut it off for 2. New Zealand approaching that 140 mark, but runs in a semi-final are the key. Doesn't matter what you get, you always put pressure on the chasing side.
Wait. Oh, okay, that's a false run-up. That's not an injury. That's a false run-up from Haris Rauf.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us. And we're nearly to the end of the first innings of this match. So Rauf in again to Mitchell, but pulls out in his run-up. Not happy. Dead ball signaled by Maria Erasmus. Well, Haris Rauf, he's bowled 7 deliveries, 150 kilometres plus. Mark Woods bowled the most with 31, which is no surprise. Norkia up there with 8 and Ferguson with 4 from New Zealand. So there's been some pace in this T20 World Cup. Rauf in to Mitchell. Traps him on the pads. They'll scurry through for a leg bye. The ball works its way through to point for a leg bye. Han says, I wonder who will be Pakistan's Lance Klusener tonight. I don't know, Han.
Iftikhar,
that
maybe.
Was not a great game against the Netherlands. They did
Should
it
be
again,
4.
didn't
Should
they?
be 4. Is 4. Yes, 140 breached. So New Zealand have breached that 140 mark.
So Rauf about to bowl his 4th ball now.
That's a boundary.
He bowls. This one's full, angled in onto the pads, worked away behind square on the leg side, down to fine leg for 4 runs and Nisham. Another boundary there. Han says, is it wrong that when Jack said Ferguson, I heard Gabe saying, ooh, Lockie? Yeah, he would have said that, huh? But he'll be key for New Zealand as they look to defend this score and hopefully book a place in the final on Sunday, which doesn't look good at the moment with the weather around in Melbourne.
Yeah, couple of days. Weather is not good in Melbourne.
Rauf in. Nisham guides it through the covers on the offside for a single. We got 1 ball left. Of the
New Zealand didn't let the wickets fall after that 3rd wicket went down, which is really good.
No, they
toss, rank high full toss. Is it a no ball? Waiting for the signal. Hesitation, run out chance, but a wayward throw. I think it's only 2, not a no ball. Signaling, just a 2.
You're a little bit ahead of me there.
Yeah.
So for me, it's
50. Well played. What a 50. What a 50. Well played to Darryl
Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Rauf. Last ball of the over. Full toss to Mitchell, and Mitchell works it for a square leg for a couple of runs, and they'll bring up his half century. And it's the end of the over as well. 19 down. It's 4 for 144. We've got one over left of this New Zealand innings. It's been crucial innings from Mitchell. He played a crucial innings in last year's semi-final against England, where he got that 70-odd in the run chase. So he's doing the job here. Gabe, you say Pakistan lost the narrative here in the death. Aram, your thoughts about that? Have they? Or do you think they've done an okay job? If you can hear us.
I think New Zealand have. It's. Yeah, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah. You're good.
Okay. So yeah, I think.
Do you think they've done well in the death here, or do you think they could have done better? I think they've done an okay job.
That's what I was saying. It's a 51-49 for me in the death. 51 New Zealand, 49 Pakistan. No one has done simply wrong. Yeah.
Naseem in to Nisham. This one's full on his pads, works it to long on for a couple of runs. New Zealand, can they get past 150? In anything 150, mid 150 will be good for them.
That's a bumper and a buy.
So here we go. So Shah into Nisham. This one's a bounce up. And Nisham scurries through for the buy. Han says, will they switch the final based on the weather forecast?
I'll join you. I'll join you through my laptop. I'll join you in a bit.
Okay, all right. Yep. No worries. Sorry, Han, I'll get back to your question there. Will they switch the final based on the weather forecast, or is it set in stone that it must be the MCG? It's pretty much set in stone, Han. It has to be at the MCG. That's where they've had it. If it rains on the reserve day, then they'll share the trophy. So the MCG holds a lot more people than Marvel Stadium in Melbourne. So it will definitely be at the MCG come Sunday. Naseem Shah into Mitchell. Bowls. This one short and pulled onto the leg side. High in the air for a single. And the fielder will cut it off in the deep for a couple of runs. Sorry, in the end, a single. In the end, didn't run two. Han says, Wreck-It Ralph. John says, Pakistan hasn't leaked too many boundaries so far. Wish Australia had bowled like this. Yes, John. Haven't we all wished that Australia bowled like this? Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. Jihan says, New Zealand have run well in this innings. They have. They really have. Nasheem bowls to Nisham. This one's full, traps him on the pads, but it goes out behind square on the offside for a leg bye. New Zealand picking another single there. Pakistan thinking about reviewing it. I don't think they should. They don't decide to review it. Babar Azam says, nope, I'm not going to review that. Let's have a look. Yeah, it was outside leg by miles. Khan says, Conway didn't run well. No, he got run out. Gabe says, you can't make this up. Participation trophies in cricket. That's right, Gabe. If the final reserve day is washed out, they share the trophy. And I think fingers crossed for that. Naseem in to Mitchell. This one's high in the air onto the leg side. No one's there. It falls safe. They'll come back for a couple of runs. This is good for New Zealand. 151 up for 4. 1 ball left of the 20th. And New Zealand have really done well to get to this total. At one stage, it didn't look like they were going to get 150. We've talked about this pitch is a little bit slower. The ball looking a bit roughed up there. So definitely this pitch is abrasive. A little bit, just having a look at the ball. It looks a bit chewed up. So Naseem, last ball of the innings for him. And will have the task of trying to finish off strongly here. Can't concede a boundary here. Here we go. Naseem to Mitchell. Bowls, and Mitchell laps it, tries to lap it. In the end, he misses it, goes straight through to Rizwan for a bye. It's the end of the 20 overs. New Zealand 4 for 152. Will that be enough? We shall see. This pitch is a bit slow, but New Zealand have done well. 4 for 152. So, Pakistan will need 154 runs to win. Sorry, 153 runs, my mistake, to win and to go through to the final on Sunday. So we'll have an innings break here. And Iran's back. Everything good on your side?
Yeah, good on my side. Yeah, just switched my device, if you can say.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Jihan says, can't they have them ready to fly to Sydney or Brisbane in the morning if it's raining in Melbourne? Well, Jihan, this is the thing a lot of people have said about it, is that they won't do it. They won't do that. The final will be in Melbourne, regardless of what happens. So, New Zealand 4 for 152 from their 20 overs. 153 for Pakistan to win.
I don't know. The commentators are saying that Pakistan have done a really good job, and it's I don't think this is going to be a cakewalk, even if they're going to chase it.
No, I don't think it's going to be straightforward. The pitch has been a little bit slow there. Hans says, just a hunch that the ball won't be as chewed up when New Zealand bowl.
I think if there's no dew, there's no reason.
Well, there hasn't been much dew around. Graf says, even it's 153 to win, I still believe would be a good match.
It will be a tight match.
Gabe, you have a question? Yes, Gabe, fire away. What's your question? We'll try and answer it for you. So send us your question, Gabe. What do you want to know? And we'll try and answer it. Dr. Jihan says, I think Pakistan would have taken this at the start. Yeah, they would have taken 150 odd. Didn't let New Zealand get away in the early stages.
But we need to also remember this, that Babar and Rizwan are very good at chasing these totals, but they haven't also been in the form. So New Zealand,
but they haven't really fired in this tournament.
Huh? They haven't really fired, yeah.
John, you say problem is moving all the broadcasters, etc. at such short notice. If it rains in Melbourne, it becomes a logistics and money issue. Yes, that's right. You can't just do that on a short notice, obviously. It's very hard to do that, obviously, moving games from one venue to the other or another state. So I don't think the ICC will do that. All righty, everyone. Seeing that we have an innings break here, it's a good time to have a bit of trivia. I've done this throughout the streams that we've done. Trivia questions, everyone. Back again, and it's New Zealand and Pakistan. And let's have some trivia as we wait for the second innings to begin. Some trivia questions for everyone. And we'll start with question 1 and question 2. So have your answers in the chat. So I try and put my jumper back on.
This is okay.
So here we go. Question 1. Who is the leading run scorer in T20 nationals between New Zealand
and Pakistan? I might know the answer, but I won't say it.
Is it A, Martin Guptill, B, Kane Williamson, or C, Mohammad Hafiz, or D, Babar Azam? And question 2, who is the leading wicket taker in T20 nationals between New Zealand and Pakistan? Is it A, Shahid Afridi, B, Haris Rauf, C, Tim Southey, or D, Umar Gould? Get your questions in and we'll reveal the answers. Bit of fun, bit of trivia. As we do that, and as we have the questions there, sorry. Oh, there we go. Gabe, your question. So in the event the final is cancelled due to weather and 2 teams end up sharing the trophy, is it like a visitation thing where one team gets to keep a trophy for 1 week, etc.? No, Gabe. No, they'll just take a photo with the trophy with them sharing it.
And then it goes to the ICC.
And then it goes to the ICC at the end of the day. So if that happens like it did in 2002 with the Champions Trophy with Sri Lanka and India.
India and Sri Lanka.
You just take the photo with the trophy and that's it. It goes back to the ICC. So there's actually 2 trophies, actually. There's one that the ICC keep and the other one's the team keeps, obviously. So, and Hans says it there as well. Yeah, they'll make a replica trophy and they'll give it to the team who's won the tournament, as they do. The ICC keep the original one. Hans says question 1A, question 2D. Thanks for that, Han. Obviously, trivia questions. Get your answers in. Bit of fun. Test your knowledge.
So when are you when are you going to reveal the answers?
We'll reveal it in a minute. I usually give people a little bit of time to think about it.
My options are different. My options are different. So
are they? Well, we'll reveal the answers in a minute. We'll get through your questions, everyone.
I'll type mine in the chat so you can
type yours in the chat and we'll see what you can come up with. Jay says, Gabe, no one takes the trophy, just take the photo.
Oh, you can see my options, right?
Yeah. Jihan says there is a reserve day for the final, isn't there? Yes, there is, Jihan.
Yeah.
Yes, there is. So there's a reserve day for the final. If that gets washed out, then people, both teams share the trophy. But to go back to your question, Gabe, they just share the trophy for the photo, and then if they have a replica made, they'll send that out to the teams. So that's how it works. Yeah. Well, that's how it works, Gabe. We haven't had it too many times. Obviously, the last time it happened was 2002, and that was Sri Lanka and India, where the reserve day got washed out, and they shared the trophy. So that's how it works. Let's hope it's not the case on Saturday. Trivia questions, the answers. Question 1 was Mohammed Hafiz, 563 he got. Kane Williamson's added to his total tonight. He had 538. Babar Azam had 359. And Martin Guptill had 526. So it was Mohammed Hafiz for question 1. Question 2 is Tim Southey, 28. Shahid Afridi had 21. Umar Gore had 15. Harris Ralph added a few wickets to his tally tonight, but he had 14 before this match. So if you got those right, well done. You get a point.
Jack, can I put my link for the preview of this game, which I did?
Yeah, sure. Well, you have to send it to me, or I have to make you a moderator for that.
No, I just put it in the chat. You can just show it.
Yes. Yeah, you can put it into the chat, and I'll get that out. Your channel.
I did. I think if you can see. I don't know.
Did you? It hasn't come up yet. So those are the answers there, everyone. And we'll come back with questions 3 and 4 a bit later on. Bit of fun there.
Yeah, I put it in the private chat or in the comments.
Yes, there we go. I've got it there. So we're about to begin the second innings. Bit of fireworks here in Sydney.
Talking about fireworks, my food.
Raring to go.
It's 4 a.m. It's 4 a.m. in Canada. So.
Well, yes, it would be early hours of the morning there.
Yeah. Anything for cricket, you know that.
Yeah, that's right. The things we do for cricket.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Jihan says, my top South Africa chokes. Well, it happened again.
I think we need to forget about these chokers tag, and we need to give credit where it's due. We need to give credit to Netherlands for the way they.
Yes, they played well, but I was surprised.
And a question on Michael Bracewell, Jack. Very, very surprising for me. He did so well in the tri-series, and now he's nowhere to be seen. So I didn't understand that tactic completely.
So here we go. We're about to get the second innings underway. It's Trent Boult, left arm. Can he get an early wicket here for New Zealand? 153 runs separates Pakistan from a semi-final into a final. Can the opening partnership of Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan fire tonight? If it does, they've got a chance. If it doesn't, well, you would think they're pretty much out of this tournament, but they've done well to come back. Dr. Jihan, your question. 1, 1999 World Cup semi-final tie. 2, 2003 World Cup group stage. No worries, all right. Yeah. 3, tie. Yes, I didn't know Duckworth-Lewis score. 3, this T20 World Cup. 4, the 2015 World Cup semi-final against New Zealand. 5, 2002 Champions Trophy against India. 190 for 1, chasing 230 and loss. So they've had a history of that. South Africa over the years didn't quite go to plan for them. So here we go. First ball. It's going to be Trent Boult to Mohammad Rizwan. Runs up, he bowls. This one short and glided past the fielder at cover for 4. Now that's a good start from Pakistan. The fans are up and about. They're jubilant. They're happy. They're cheering. They want Pakistan going through to the final. It's a good start. Poor delivery from Trent Boult. The angle across from the left arm over the wicket bowler to the right-hander. You want to try and get that line right. That was too wide outside off stump. And Rizwan picked the gap nicely in the covers with the fielders racing away to the boundary. Boult in to Rizwan. This one's defended. And there is no run. So 4 on the dot to begin proceedings here in the second innings from the SCG in the first semi-final, I should say, between New Zealand and Pakistan. Here we go. Boult in to Rizwan. This one's full and pushed to mid-on for a single. Pakistan move on to 5 for no loss. Jihan says, England struggled to beat Sri Lanka and Ireland and weren't exactly dominant against Afghanistan. Can't see them winning tomorrow. That's about England versus India. That's semi-final tomorrow from the SCG. Trent Boult in again. Runs up, he bowls to Azam. Outside edge, and it just falls short of Devon Conway. Was it a chance? Did it carry? Hands on heads. By the reaction, they run through for a single in the end, but I'm pretty sure that carried to the keeper and Conway. Let's have a look. It was a healthy outside edge. Got a hand to it, got a glove. He dropped it, put it down. Oh, you can't be doing that in a semi-final. Jihan says drop. Yes, it was. Got a hand to it, got a glove. Garaf says, what have you done, Conway? Oh, Gabe, if you were here right now, you'll be losing your mind with that drop. Boult into Rizwan. This one's short outside off stump. Cut away through point. They scurry through for a quick single. That's a big let off. Dr. Jihan says, definitely drop. Tough chance. We've got to remember Devon Conway's not actually a keeper. He's usually a part-time keeper. Diving to his right. In the end, just hit the tip of the gloves and he couldn't connect the catch. Gabe says match fixing. Well, let's hope not, Gabe. Boult in to Azam. This one's full. Chopped down by Azam behind square on the leg side, behind square on the offside for a dot. End of the over, none for 7 after 1. Good start from Pakistan. New Zealand can't afford any slip-ups. They've got to perform well in the field. Han says, Jack, if England win the World Cup, are you flying out to London to celebrate with your heroes? No, Han, no. Nope. I won't be doing that. That's for sure. it was even hard for me to say in my preview that I did yesterday that England were actually going to win against India. For me, obviously, Australia's not playing in the final, of course. So I don't really care who wins, but I would like New Zealand to win because they haven't won one and they deserve to win one if they can. Dr. Jihan says, did you hear Ian Chappell saying he's not back in South Africa because they'll find a way to mess it up 2 days before the Netherlands game? Did he? Well, in the end, Ian Chappell was right. Tim Southey into the attack. Dot ball to start to Mohammad Rizwan. None for 7. Hans says, yeah, right. You even call yourself Union Jack when nobody is looking. Well, I won't be celebrating if England win, Han, that's for sure. Maybe if Australia win the Ashes next year, probably. Southey in, full. This one's bunted to mid-on for a quick single. Gabe says, investigate Conway. Is he having financial difficulties? Well, he's actually not a keeper, actually. He got a little bit muddled up in his footwork there. His right leg collapsed underneath him, so he couldn't really transfer his weight to his right side. He's not a really full-time keeper, Conway. He's only a part-time keeper. Southey into his arm, dabs this behind square on the offside for no run. Jihan says, I'm not a wicketkeeper, but Conway's footwork was poor there, was off balance. Yeah, it was. Just that leg collapsed underneath him and he couldn't really transfer his weight. But he did well to get a hand to it. Hans says, if Pakistan win the World Cup, do they risk losing the Pepsi sponsorship? They have built a brand on comedy fielding. Southey into Azam. This one's down the leg side, but it's not a wide and gets away with that. So we have a look at the replay here. That one down leg side, but the umpire, Richard Illingworth, saying that's not a wide. That's okay. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Obviously, we had a special guest with us. Iran from the Direct Hit joined us for a bit. Southey into Azam. This one's full, defended from Azam for a dot ball. And we had him join us before. Make sure you go check out his video here. He did his preview on the semis. Go and check him out and support the Direct Hit. The link is in the comments section. Go and check that out. He's been on the podcast before, Iran. I've been on his channel discussing cricket over the time that I've been doing the podcast. So go and check him out and go check out his latest video. But it was good to chat to him again. He joined us briefly in the stream today. Southey ends the over with a single. And it's the end of the over. None for 9 for Pakistan after 2. So 153 is the target. Jihan says, do you think Satner's floaters will be difficult to score against? Well, if he gets it right, they probably will, Jihan. He's not a big turner of the ball, Satner. So he will be economical, I would think, especially on a pitch that's not really offering pace. As Bolt continues. This one short, pulled down to mid-off for a single. Gabe says, okay, boys, got to go. Got school in 4 hours. Great work, Jack. Thank you, Gabe. Hope you have a good night and get some sleep. And then to wake up the next morning and to see who wins this game, either New Zealand or Pakistan. At the moment, it looks like it's going to be a close game, Bolt in to Azam. This one's cut away to the point boundary for 4. And Babar Azam, he hasn't really found his timing throughout this tournament. But 4 runs, nonetheless, from Babar Azam, the Pakistan captain. Good shot there. Nicely guarded through point. And he'll be hoping that him and Mohammad Rizwan can get the team off to a good start. Gaurav says Babar clearly looks short of confidence. Well, he hasn't really fired in this tournament, Babar Azam. Quick single there from Azam. Moves on to 7. Rizwan's on 7. It's none for 14. Well, Babar Azam in the nets, warming up before this semi-final, a few days out, looking to discover his touch and timing in today's game. Bolt bowls to Rizwan, works his pass, short fine leg for 4 runs. Got a little bit too full onto the pads there, Bolt, and he was able to work that behind square on the leg side down to fine leg for 4 runs. And that's a boundary there for Mohammad Rizwan. New Zealand, they've got to break this partnership early. That's going to be the key for them. If they don't, then it's going to be tough. Says that Conway drop is looking costly already. Bolt in. This one's full driven through the covers from Rizwan. They'll come back for 2 to move the score on to none for 20. Well, you don't like to drop catches, but with Devon Conway, he's not actually a full-time keeper. He's sort of a part-time keeper that only keeps because New Zealand want him in the side and they don't have any other keeper to really be in the side. So that's why they've gone with Conway here. So you are going to expect the odd drop from him. So Bolt in. This one short. Outside off stump, and it's been dispatched to the point boundary for 4 to end the over. Poor delivery there from Trent Bolt. That's a good shot from Azam. It's the end of the over. It's none for 24 after 3. Expensive over there from Trent Bolt. None for 24 after 3. It's a good start from Pakistan. Chasing 153. A reminder, tomorrow we'll be back live streaming again. That'll be India and England semi-final from Adelaide. And then obviously after that, Sunday for the final. And then the T20 World Cup will be finished for another year. And I think most people will be glad when the tournament's over. It's been going on for some time. As Lockie Ferguson's going to come into the attack. And he's going to be bowling some pace here. Hart says, I don't care if he's not a keeper. He should be practicing in the nets more. He's a pro and should be at least competent. Yes, as Ferguson bowls to Azam, this one's driven straight back down the ground, past Lockie Ferguson for 4. And Pakistan are off to a very promising start in this semi-final. Danger signs for New Zealand. Yeah, Han, you're right. He should be. I'm guessing he does work on his keeping a little bit. Probably doesn't work on it as he's batting because he's not a part-time keeper. You know, he's a part-time keeper. He's not a full-time keeper. So, and for New Zealand, they don't have another keeper in their setup that is doing well in T20 cricket. This one's guided behind square on the offside, down to third man for a couple of runs from Azam. The Pakistan captain's looking good. And in the end, a couple of runs. So danger signs for New Zealand. Need a wicket here. This opening partnership's key for Pakistan. We know Ferguson in to Azam. This one's glided to third man for a single. It's a good start to the over. 7 off it. 4 and a 2 and a single. Kane Williamson got a lot of thinking to do here. Let us know in the chat. Do you think New Zealand are a good chance of winning? At the moment, it's a good start to Pakistan. You would think Pakistan get off to a good start. They should be able to win this game here, but relies on the partnership. So Ferguson in to Rizwan. This one's full defended from Rizwan for no run. Dot ball from Ferguson. Good comeback after the first ball went for a boundary. So a lot of people saying, oh, it's almost around about 50-50 in the poll that we have. Going to end it right there and see if it's right. Ferguson to Rizwan. He drives this through the covers down to mid-off for a quick single. It's good running there. Good to keep the intensity up and the momentum. It's a good start. Can't afford to give it away here. Last ball, the other. Third man and deep back of the square leg. 2 fielders outside of the power play overs. Ferguson bowls to Azam. This one's full defended by Azam for a dot ball. It's the end of the over. It's none for 32 after 4. None for 32 after 4. Got 2 overs left of the power play. It's a good start from Pakistan. We'll go to our trivia questions. For a bit of fun. Question 3. Who has played the most T20 nationals between New Zealand and Pakistan? Is it A, Ross Taylor? He was a very good T20 player for New Zealand. Mohammad Hafiz, B. C, Martin Guptill, or D, Kane Williamson? Question 4. Which venue hosted the first ever T20 national between New Zealand and Pakistan? Is it A, Wellington, which is the regional stadium? B, Newlands, which is in Cape Town? C, Dubai? Or D, the Hagley Oval, which is a newer venue in New Zealand, replacing the old one that was there in Christchurch, which was Lancaster Park. Unfortunately, that was in disrepair after the earthquakes there, so that's why Hagley Oval's being built because of that. Let us know your questions and your answers in the comments section. Southie in. This one short, pulled away by Rizwan through mid-wicket for 4 runs. Pakistan are off to a good start in the run chaser. Keep scoring boundaries. New Zealand need a wicket. They need to stop the opening partnership. Let us know your answers to the trivia questions in the chat. Testing your knowledge again. Southie in to Rizwan again. This one's full and it's been pulled away through square leg for 4 runs.
Okay, I found this on the web, so let us know your answers to the trivia questions in the chat. Check it out.
Sorry about that, everyone. Siri again going off on my phone. That's a boundary there from Rizwan, and Pakistan picking up the boundaries at regular intervals now. They're not really struggling as New Zealand did on this pitch. It was a little bit slow, but Pakistan don't seem fazed by the slowness of the surface. And sorry about that, everyone. My phone interrupting me there. series got a mind of its own. This one's worked behind square on the leg side. Down to short, fine leg for a single. So let us know your answers to the trivia questions in the chat. And we'll reveal the answers after this over. Thanks for joining us. So here we go. Three balls left in the over. This is the fourth ball. Southie to Azam. This one's down the leg side. It's called a wide by Maria Rasmus. Signals wide. Down the leg side and wide being signaled. None for 42. It's a very good start from Pakistan. As we mentioned before, the opening partnership hasn't really got going in this T20 World Cup, but it's going tonight in the semi-final, and that's what Pakistan need. New Zealand need wickets to peg them back here. Southie in to Azam. This one's dabbed behind square to short third man for a dot. Now, the answers to the trivia questions, if you were trying to guess the answers, question 3 was Martin Guptill. That was C. He played 19 matches, so the most ever between the two countries. And question 4 was Cape Town, Newlands, back in 2007. That was the first T20 World Cup. And these two teams played their first T20 in that final, in that tournament. Southie in, bowls to Azam. This one's short on his pads, pulled away to backward square leg for 4 runs. And the boundaries keep flowing for New Zealand. They can't seem to stop the boundaries. Pakistan have been able to score at a regular rate, and it's been good. They don't seem troubled by the slow nature of the surface. In the end, you would have to say New Zealand just haven't got it right with the ball yet. Here we go in, Southie in to Azam, works this through square leg for a single. And that's a good way to end the over. It's the end of the over. It's none for 47 after 5. And it's a good start from Pakistan. The opening partnership finally trying to get back on track in this tournament. That's going to be the key for Pakistan in this run chase. Joy says it looks like Pakistan will chase it easily. Well, so far so good, Joy. But as we know, things can change quickly. And it takes a couple of wickets to get New Zealand back and running again. But Pakistan seem determined. They seem a little bit unfazed by the challenge ahead. They need 106 off 90 balls. Ferguson in to Azam. This one short, pulled to the fielder in the deep on the leg side for 1. Joy says gave too many in the power play. Yes, well, it's the last over of the power play. It's already none for 48. We're into the 5th over. So they haven't just got it right with the bowling yet. New Zealand leaking too many runs. Ferguson in to Rizwan. This one full and dug out well by Rizwan for a dot ball. Pakistan none for 48. Rizwan and Azam have done very well. The opening partnership critical for Pakistan, obviously. For them to chase down any target tonight set by New Zealand, they had to get off to a good start in the run chase, and they've done that. Thanks for joining us, everyone. As Ferguson into Rizwan. This one full, try to pull it, Rizwan. In the end, he misses it, hits him on the pad. I think they'll scurry through for a leg bye. Another single onto the turtle, and under for 49, 1 run away from the 50 partnership for the opening wicket. Well, the current run rate is nearly 9 runs and over. The required rate is 7. So they've done well to get that to a manageable sort of rate. And they've started well. They've got off to a good start. And it's been very good from Pakistan. Ferguson in to Azam. He pulls this high into the air over the head of Devon Conway, the keeper, and it races away to the boundary for 4. And New Zealand, they're just leaking runs now. It's not a good start at all. The power play's been expensive. The bowlers have looked off the pace. The lines and lengths haven't been bowled well or consistent. That was banged in short. Babar Azam went for it, got a top edge over the keeper's head, down to the boundary for 4. Well, good start from Pakistan. You would think they're on track to go through to the semis. Ferguson in. This one short, glided to short third man for a single from Azam. It's been good batting from him, rotating the strike, picking the boundaries. Too many boundaries for New Zealand's sake. They need a couple of wickets to stem the flow of runs. That's what T20 cricket does. You get a couple of wickets, stop the momentum. At the moment, it doesn't look good. So 1 ball left of the power play. It's going to be Ferguson to bowl it to Rizwan. He's in. He bowls this one short. Worked through square leg by Rizwan for a single. It's the end of the over. It's none for 55 after 6. And you'll have to say it's a good start from Pakistan. They're well on track in their quest to chase down 153 runs to win and to go through to Sunday's final at the MCG. So New Zealand need a couple of wickets here. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Hope everyone's having a good time. We tend to have some fun here on the channel. It's been good doing these live streams. I'll be quite happy when this T20 World Cup is over, so we can have a bit of a break from all these live streams and watch-alongs. But they've been great fun, as always, connecting with everyone. So spin into the attack. It's going to be Lockie Ferguson bowled the last over. It's going to be Mitchell Satner into the attack. Bit of spin, change of pace from New Zealand after the power play. They've got to do something. These two, Rizwan and Azam, have not looked phased at the moment. Satner in, bowls. This one short of a length. And nicely guarded through the covers for a single there from Rizwan. Score moves on to 56 for no loss. Mitchell Satner, what can he do? Needs a breakthrough for his captain, Kane Williamson. And he needs one straight away. Satner bowls. This one's defended by Azam for a dot. That one just straightening a little bit there from Satner. Needs some wickets, New Zealand. Satner in again. He bowls. And this one's punched off the back foot through the covers for a single from Azam. He moves on to 26. Pakistan doing it easily at this current time. Satner in again, bowls to Rizwan. This one's on his pads, worked through mid-wicket. Square leg region for a single. We've got 2 balls left to the 7th. It's been a fast start from Pakistan. They don't seem to be phased by the occasion. They don't seem to be troubled by the pitch, not really playing as quick as we expected. It's a bit slow. Satner in to Azam. This one's down the leg side and pulled away. Down to backward square leg for 4 runs. And it's a boundary from Azam. A worried face from Kane Williamson. He looks a bit concerned. He doesn't know what to do here at the moment. It seems like Pakistan are running away with this match. This opening partnership has fired finally for Pakistan. It hasn't fired throughout the whole tournament, but it's starting to get motoring now. Satner in. Last ball of the over. To Azam. Bowls. Trapped in the front. LBW. There's an appeal. Not given. They'll come back for a couple of leg buys. Now, Kane Williamson's just saying, did it turn too much? Was it missing? In the end, it wasn't given, but he's gone upstairs. Might as well Got nothing to lose, New Zealand. Got to get a breakthrough here. They've gone upstairs for a DRS review. Let's see what has happened. It was an appeal for LBW. Trapped Babar Azam in front of the stumps. Murray Erasmus gave it not out. He probably thought it was just doing too much and probably missing the stumps. But let's see what the third umpire does in his adjudication of this LBW. Let's have a look. Oh, it pitched in line. Did hit the front pad. Whether or not it got bat, that's the question. And whether it did too much as well. Let's have a look. Inside edge. Flat line, flat line. Ball passes the bat. Still flat line. Ball hits the pad. Gaurav says, looks close to me. It does look close. There's no bat involved. So let's have a look on ball tracking. Pitching in line, impact is in line, wickets. Missing the extra bounce. Going over the top stumps. So New Zealand wastes the review. And Murray Erasmus makes a very good decision. Not out at the end of the day. It's the end of the seventh. It's none for 63 for Pakistan. So it's going to be spin from both ends. Ish Sodhi is going to come into the attack. The leg spinner. Needs a wicket. Kane Williamson nearly got a wicket in the last over, but unfortunately the LBW was missing the stumps. And in the end, no damage done for Pakistan. Babar Azam survives. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and appreciate everyone just joining us and tuning in to watch this semi-final tonight between New Zealand and Pakistan from the SCG. So here we go. Sodhi in to Azam. And this one's a top ball to begin proceedings in this over. Joy says about that LBW, that one would bounce that much on this slow pitch is beyond me. Yes, well, it was going over the top of the stumps. Don't usually get big amounts of bounce here at the SCG. That one's worked for a single. I was quite surprised that was going over the top. Would have been clipping probably at best, but anyway, ball tracking predicted the ball was going to miss the stumps completely. In the end, it did. Pakistan don't lose a wicket. Sodhi in. Rizwan pulls this through mid-wicket for a single. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and it's great to have your company. Let us know in the chat, what does New Zealand need to do here? Well, it seems pretty obvious and need wickets, and they need them quick. Sodhi in again to Azam, bowls. This one short. Pulled away through square leg for a single. And he will pick up another run, Rizwan, who's on to 32, I believe. None for 66. Pakistan firm favourites. Right about now, 88% to New Zealand's 12% on win predictor. You would think that's pretty much accurate, given the start they've got. None for 66. Good start from the openers. Sodhi in, bowls, and Rizwan works this behind square of the leg side to short fine leg for a single. One ball left to the eighth over. And it's been a good over from Pakistan. 4 singles off this over. Sodhi in to Azam, works this through mid-wicket for another single. And it's a good way to end the overs. None for 68 after 8. For 68 after 8. It's a good start. We've got 2 overs left before we reach halfway. It looks pretty much Pakistan are cruising at this stage of the game. They look pretty good. Mitchell Satner continuing. Spin at both ends. That's the game plan for New Zealand. That's the way they've got to go to go about winning this game, taking wickets. That's what they need at the moment here. Satner. He's in, he bowls. And this one's punched off the back foot from Azam for a dot. Mitchell Satner, he's been pretty good, pretty tidy. None for 7 from his first over. Or none for 7 thus far. He's in again, bowls to Azam. This one's pulled away through mid-wicket. Looking for 2. I think they'll just come back only for 1, and they will. Just the single. So it's been a very good start from Pakistan. Well, very good start from Pakistan. Satner into Rizwan. Rizwan sweeps through square leg. It's running away to the boundary. Won't quite get there. The fielder will cut it off for 2. And they'll come back easily. 2 runs. They're doing it easily, Pakistan. None for 71. We've got 3 balls left of the 9th. And this semi-final is sort of petering out to a one-sided affair at the moment. You would think there will be some excitement and some twists and turns in this semi-final, but at the moment there's not much to really talk about, really. It's pretty much steady as she goes for Pakistan. Sat that in to Rizwan. Works this through the covers for a single. Concerns now for New Zealand. They need wickets. That's the simple equation here for them. For Pakistan, they just need to bat responsibly. Just keep batting the way they've been batting. They'll get to the total. I don't think this will go until the 20th over. Satner into Azam. This one's short, outside off stump. And this one's worked through the covers. Phillips does the fielding for a single. I don't think that this game is going to go quite to the 20 overs. Given how Pakistan are scoring at the moment, none for 73. I think it could finish a lot earlier. Satner into Rizwan. This one short, pulled away through mid-wicket for a couple of runs. They're looking for 2. Misfield from Trent Boult. They'll come back for the second. You don't see that from New Zealand. A bit sloppy there. It's the end of the over. It's none for 75 after 9. We're 1 over away from the drinks break. And both teams will have a bit of a reset. Talk about the tactics, where to next. At the moment for New Zealand, it's going one way at the moment here at the SCG, and it's not going their way. They need something to happen here. They need some inspiration. They need some wickets, and that's an obvious statement to make. Joy says New Zealand looks all out of sorts at the moment. Yes, I tend to agree with that, Joy. They do look a little bit out of sorts. They haven't really got it right with the ball. Bit of a misfield from Boult. You don't expect that from New Zealand. They're pretty good in the field. But semi-finals, it's whoever performs well on the day, whoever handles the pressure well, will win this game. And Pakistan are doing it nicely. Pretty much they're coaxing along. None for 75. No need to take risk. They've started well. The opening partnership, Rizwan and Azam, has failed in this tournament thus far. But they've started to fire. Sodhi into Azam. Glides it behind square on the offside for a single. Nearly a run out. Oh, it was all happening on that ball. Finally, some excitement. Whoa, nearly a run out. New Zealand needed that. Unfortunately, it missed the stumps. We worked it behind square on the offside to short third man. Trent Boult did the fielding. Threw it to the non-strikers in. And Babar Azam was well out of his ground if it hit. Unfortunately, no damage done for New Zealand. No damage done, I should say, for Pakistan. Sodhi in again, bowls. This one's full. An attempted lap shot. Gets it fine down to fine leg. It won't quite go all the way there. They'll pick up at least 2. They'll come back for 3, and that's good running. Han says this is a cakewalk for Pakistan. Well, it pretty much is, Han. It pretty much is not going New Zealand's way at the moment. You would say all one-way traffic. Gurav says too many easy singles. Yes, there is. Well, New Zealand have to balance attack with defence here, and you can go one or two ways in this situation. It doesn't look like Rizwan and Azam are going to make a mistake. If they play a rash shot, then you think they will. Sodi in. This one short to Azam. Pulled away to the square leg fielder in the deep. He'll cut it off for a single. None for 80 for Pakistan. The opening partnership. Where was this early in the tournament for Pakistan? They've only delivered the goods here in this semi-final. Sodi spinning the ball in his hand as he gets ready to bowl. Runs up, he bowls to Rizwan, who works this to backward point for a quick single. It's too easy from Pakistan here. New Zealand not really applying all pressure. Ahan says it's official. Gabe has killed New Zealand. Thanks, Mush. Well, he probably has. He probably has. Well, at the moment, it's just too easy. There's no pressure. Sodi in to Azam, and this has worked nicely to the backward point boundary for 4. The boundaries keep coming for Pakistan. The fans are waving their flags and excitement. They can sense it. And New Zealand, that was a wrong one. Came out of the back of the hand there from Sodi from the leg spinner. Picked it well, Azam. Outside off stump, short. Glided it nicely through backward point for 4 runs. New Zealand looked a bit off here at the moment. They look off the boil. Here we go. Last ball, the 10th, and we'll have drinks. Sodi in. This one short again. Pushed on the back foot through backward point for a single. They'll come back for 2. Good running. It's the end of the over. It's none for 87 after 10. It's time for drinks, and it's time for a rethink for New Zealand. They need something to happen. This game is slipping away, and I don't think this game will go the full distance. I don't think it will go to the 20 overs. John says, I go away for dinner, come back, and it's all happening. You summed it up there, John, in the words of Bill Laurie. It's all happening here at the SCG, and Pakistan are off to a very good start. They're on track to win this game. Joy says, perfect conditions for Pakistan. Slow pitch, 150-odd target, and no swing on offer. Yes, they're absolutely in their element. Gurav says, who would have thought Pakistan in the finals after Zimbabwe game? Well, yes, well, you forgot about the loss to India as well. They'll be thanking the Netherlands for beating South Africa, Pakistan, because if that didn't happen, they wouldn't have been here tonight. But it's not going well, isn't it, for New Zealand? And if you're a New Zealand supporter, you'll be saying, we come to the semi-finals and we play our worst game of the tournament. And looks like that at the moment. While we've got a drinks break, let me know in the chat, where do you think this game's going? Looks pretty straightforward at the moment. You think Pakistan should canter home. As we know, T20 cricket's a little bit unpredictable. You never know. Drinks break brings about a wicket. But I thought to get everyone thinking, I pulled up some quotes from the great man, Richie Benaud. Just some thoughts to leave you today with. Obviously, Richie Benaud was known for his commentary, brilliant captain. And I thought some quotes that he said during his career as a player and as a commentator as well. Some very wise words from Richie Benaud, I thought. Especially the first one. Captaincy is 90% luck and 10% skill. And it is. You need a lot of luck in this game, and you need some skill as well. The second one, and I think this applies to all commentators today, is that he said, my mantra is put your brain into gear, and if you can add to what's on the screen, then do it. Otherwise, shut up. Some wise words there from Richie Benaud, obviously, when it comes to commentary, and I think probably the modern-day commentators don't really do that often. The power of the pause and the power of the silence. And letting the pictures do the talking. Richie Benaud was known for that in his commentary. But That was one of the quotes he said. And the last one is the key thing was to learn the value of a comedy with words and never to insult the viewer by telling them what they can already see. So a few quotes there from Richie Benaud to leave you to think about after this live stream as we get ready for the last 10 overs of this match. Ferguson in. First ball is a wide after drinks. But Richie Benaud, obviously one of Australia's great captains and players and commentators. A couple of his quotes there from his playing days and his commentary career. Some wise words that we should all think about when it comes to the game of cricket and also to commentary as well. So I just thought that will be a nice touch to the stream tonight as Ferguson bowls to Rizwan, dabs this to the offside for a quick single. Pakistan doing it easily at the moment here in Sydney. And there's no need to panic. There's no need to do anything rash. Keep doing what you're doing. Rotate the strike. Build the singles. Put pressure on New Zealand. And that's what they're doing. Well, New Zealand were 3 for 60 at this stage of the game. Pakistan are none for 89, so they're miles ahead. Ferguson in. This one short, glided to third man for a single from Azam. They're doing it easily at the moment. Some very wise words there from Richie Benaud. Yeah, some of the quotes that he said during his commentary and playing days. I thought that was a nice touch to the stream tonight. Get people thinking about some of the quotes there, but some wise words from Richie. Ferguson in. This one short. Leaps up. Rears up. Catches the shoulder of the bat from Rizwan. In the end, they get a single down to third man. Gaurav says, somehow the pitch also has played a little better in the second innings. Well, it has. It hasn't really troubled Pakistan all that much. Joy says, these two might be the most successful T20 partnership while being the most boring one too. Well, they're getting the job done, Joy. That's the main thing. You know, it doesn't matter how boring you are. If you get the job done, that's all that matters. Ferguson in. This one short. Pulled away over mid-wicket. 4 runs. Another boundary. And that's another boundary there. The Pakistan fans are celebrating. And another boundary. And Pakistan are a step closer now to the semi-finals of this T20 World Cup. They've got 1 foot in the final on Sunday. Good shot over mid-wicket there for 4 runs of a short delivery. Rolled the fingers across that one, but Azam did very well to pick that up for 4 runs and a good shot there from the Pakistan captain. Ferguson in. Azam hits it straight to the fielder at mid-wicket for no run. Last ball, the 11th over. This one full and worked through mid-wicket for a single from Azam. It's the end of the over. It's none for 97. They come back for 2 in the end there. Good running. None for 97 after 11. Got 9 overs left. Pakistan well on track now. And they've pretty much booked a place in the semi-finals. You would think they have made it to the semi-finals now. But anything can happen, as we know. You never know in T20 cricket. Weird things have happened. Half century for Babar Azam as well. 50 not out of 38 deliveries. And that's what Pakistan needed. John says, am I right in assuming New Zealand's line and length hasn't been as tight as Pakistan's? I did miss the first 8 overs. Well, John, basically the pitch was a little bit slow. And Pakistan bowled very well. They kept it tight. New Zealand just haven't got it right. A lot of wide deliveries, a lot of short deliveries. There's no pressure. They look a little bit, dejected, really. They looked a bit down. The body language is not there. They're just going through the motions, you would think now. 56 off 54, they're pretty much well on track to win this game, and it's been a very one-sided second innings, that's for sure. New Zealand have just been, pretty much outplayed in this semi-final, and Pakistan have really showed up tonight, and we've seen that from them with the ball and also with the bat now with Azam and Rizwan. Sodhi in, bowls to Rizwan, sweeps it down to mid-wicket for a single. Joy says first 50 for Azam in this T20 World Cup, and I hope this will be the last. Well, he hasn't had a great T20 World Cup until this point. He's been a bit out of form, but he's back into form tonight. It's been a good innings from Azam. Sodhi in. Azam works this through square leg for a single. That's all Pakistan need to do, just to work the singles around, if I can get that word out, singles. Look to work the singles and look to put New Zealand under pressure, and that's what they've been doing. It's a pretty much one-sided game, that's for sure now. New Zealand, they just haven't really put pressure on. They haven't really looked at their best. As Sodhi continues, runs up, he bowls. This one tossed up. And Rizwan plays and misses at this, past this outside edge, and straight through to the keeper for no run. That one came out more of the side of the hand with that leg spinner, and then that one just turned and straightened a little bit. So Sodhi spinning the ball in his hand, as most leg spinners do at the top of their mark. He runs up, he bowls, and Rizwan works it off his pads through mid-wicket for a single. And the 100 partnership is up for Pakistan. This is their third century stand in T20 World Cups. They're doing it easily. Where was this for Pakistan in the early stages of the tournament? But in a game that matters the most, the semi-final, they've delivered. And pretty much think that Pakistan, they could actually win the whole thing. Their tails are up. They've got confidence. This one's worked down the ground to long on for a single from Azam. And they're just going through the motions, New Zealand. It's just not gone their way. Happens in cricket, where you play games like this in a semi-final. It just doesn't go your way for New Zealand. They were pretty good in the group stage, but all of a sudden, it's going downhill at the moment in the semi-final. The opening partnership for Pakistan have done the damage, and that's what you want. Sodhi in to Rizwan, sweeps this way outside off stump for a single to square leg, and that's the end of the 12th over. It's none for 102, and I don't think this game's going to go to the full 20 overs. I think it's going to finish well before the 20th over mark. And this game now for New Zealand, you would think is almost gone. Gaurav says, get a short mid-wicket for spinners, stop the singles, put some pressure. That's right, Gaurav. Where is the short mid-wicket? They haven't put the fielder in there. They've kept them out. It's no good trying to not really put the pressure on and hoping they'll make a mistake. You have to try and make a mistake to happen. But at the moment, it looks pretty comfortable. New Zealand haven't really put on a lot of pressure. The fielders have lost all energy. There's no enthusiasm. There's no passion. There's no nothing. Kane Williamson's moving some fielders around, gesturing with his hands. Well, we go back to what we say in T20 cricket is that if you pick up a couple of wickets, you never know. New Zealand just needs some wickets. You never know. Take it to the 20th over. You never know. But at the moment, it's not quite happening for them. Here we go. Bolt back into the attack. This one short, down leg side. Pulled away down to fine leg for a single. Didn't quite get the line right there, Bolt. He's been expensive tonight, none for 23. And it goes back to what Richie Benaud said in one of his quotes in the game of cricket. And that is, captaincy is 90% luck and 10% skill. So for Kane Williamson, he needs all that 90% to go his way now to win this match out of nowhere. And he needs a little bit of skill as well. 50 off 47. Bolt in again. This one full inside edge behind square onto the leg side for Azam. And he gets a single for his troubles. And he's been batting nicely tonight. He hasn't really looked troubled. Renell. Hello, Renell. Hope you're well. You're saying New Zealand heading home. Looks like it, Renell. You never know. Funny things have happened, but at the moment, it looks like, well, they've pretty much got this game in the bag. Bolt in to Rizwan. Works it through mid-wicket again for a single. Joy says, that's all for me. I am going to take a nap, then just read the score card, seeing Pakistan win comfortably. It looks like that, Joy. But thanks for joining as always. And hope to see you tomorrow, Joy. Obviously for the big game, India and England from the Adelaide Oval. John says, looks like Hayden's pep talk got Pakistan fired up. Well, it has. This one's high in the air. It's been launched. But it's straight down the fielder's throat, along on. A wicket for New Zealand. They've broken the partnership. Finally, Trent Boult breaks through. That is the end of Babar Azam. And he's got to go, I think. Or was it Rizwan? No, I think it was Azam. Good catch from Daryl Mitchell at long on. And that is the end of Babar Azam. It was Azam there. And Daryl Mitchell fired up. Something for New Zealand to hope. Azam gone for a very good 53. It's 1 for 105. And Mohammed Harris is the new batter at the crease. Renell says, good morning. Doing okay. Just woke up. Well, I hope you had a very good sleep, Renell. And good to see you as always. And you say, hope you're doing well. I'm doing well, Renell. I'm doing great. Very disappointed that Australia are not in the semis, of course. But, hey, we can still have a bit of fun talking about cricket. And just relax, really, for me, really, not worrying about Australia. But Australia will be back in action next week on Thursday for the first of 3 ODIs against England, which will start at the Adelaide Oval 4 days after this T20 World Cup's finished. Garaf says, Renell, you brought some luck for New Zealand. Well, she did. Came on, got a wicket. Renell says, yeah, finally. Well, something for them to smile about. It hasn't been a great night. You never know. You never know. Will this give them a chance? It's a slim chance, but it's something. All right, Mohammed Harris, new batter in the crease. He's done pretty well. He faces Boult, bowls. This one's short of a length, and Harris defends for no run. Trent Boult's got his towel up. That wicket. Renell says, come on, New Zealand. We need a triple hat trick. Well, they do. If they've got any chance of winning this game, they need a double hat trick here. But they've got the first wicket. That's all that matters. Boult into Harris. This one is driven straight back down the ground for 4. And it was Rizwan, I believe it was. I don't think it was Harris. It was Rizwan. Very good shot. That was 2-4 from Trent Boult outside off stump in the slot. And Rizwan was able just to work that down to long off for a boundary. And Pakistan edging closer to the final. They can almost touch it now. And they're only 1 game away from winning the tournament. They need 44 off 42 balls remaining. You would think Pakistan have got this game in the bag. New Zealand, they've just been all over the place. It's the end of the over. It's 1 for 109 after 13. We've got 7 to go. And it looks like Pakistan have got this game well and truly sewn up. But, as we know, you never know what's going to happen. Here we go. Sodhi in. Bowls to Rizwan. And that one swept to deep backward square leg for a single. And he's starting to get some touch, Mohammed Rizwan. Same with Babar Azam. Both of them have had a quiet tournament thus far. And it's very important for them just to, get some form, especially in the semi-final. It's such a big game. Matthew Hayden, his motivational speech definitely worked for Pakistan because they're playing well. They could win the whole thing. Sodhi in. Reverse sweep from Harris. And he's out. Stumped or run out. Well, Conway did well to remove the bails, but I think he's safe. But Harris looks unfazed. Went for the reverse sweep. Whether or not New Zealand want to go upstairs or not, Williamson's not convinced, but he does go upstairs for the review. Let's have a look at this one. For New Zealand, can they get 2 wickets here? Can they get back-to-back wickets after getting the wicket of Azhar? Well, it was a reverse sweep. And in the end, the umpire gave it not out. So quite interesting to see what happens here. Let's have a look. Reverse sweep from Rizwan. Ooh, it's hit him on the toe. You know what? That's pretty close. Now, as an umpire, you would say, well, it's hit him on the boot. And you would assume that the ball would go on to hit the stumps. Whether or not the ball pitched outside the line of off stump is the question. And it probably did. The impact was probably outside the line. That's the next question. He's also playing a shot as well. Gaurav says, yeah, it could be out. Renell says really close. Does really look close. Whether or not it was outside the line or not, that's the question. Let's have a look on ball tracking. It's outside the line. I thought so. Yeah, it looked outside the line there to me on the first replay. Good decision by the umpire, Richard Illingworth. And for New Zealand, they waste a review, and that's a review gone. But you can understand that. Desperation. You need wickets. New Zealand just hoping that will go their way. Unfortunately, it hasn't quite gone their way. So here we go. 43 off 40. Sodhi in. Bowls to Harris. Harris works this through point for a single. It's 42 off 39 for Pakistan. They're well on track to win this game. Looks pretty easy now. Just have a look there at the run out or the stumping there. He was well safe. That was the previous ball before the LBW appeal. So New Zealand got some problems that they need to attend to here if they are going to claw this back and win this game from nowhere. Looks looks doubtful at this stage. Here we go. Sodhi in to Rizwan. Past the umpire, he bowls. This one's short, worked off his pads to the fielder in the deep on the leg side for a single. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I hope everyone's well and enjoying some cricket. And well, this semi-final's just petered out a little bit. It's just gone the way of Pakistan. It's gone really one way. Not much to really speak of. It's pretty straightforward. You would think now Mohammad Rizwan brings up his half century. 50 off 36 balls. He's done well today. And that's a very good half century there. Sodhi into Harris. Sweeps this behind square on the leg side for a single. And we've got one ball left of the 14th over. Nearly to the end of this semi-final between New Zealand and Pakistan from the SCG. 41 off 37. Pretty much nearly a run of ball, almost really. Sodhi in to Rizwan. Works it, Harris, that is. Harris was on strike, works it for a single down to long off. It's the end of the over. It's 1 for 113 after 14 overs. Well, 36,443 people in the SCG tonight. That's not a bad crowd. Not really a big ground, the SCG. It's quite a small ground. And Pakistan, their fans are jubilant. They're happy. They're celebrating. They're cheerful. They're going to go through to the final on Sunday. And it's been a bit of an up and down tournament for the Pakistan team. But you never know. They could do what they did back in 1992 and go on to win the whole tournament as they did back in 1992. Mitchell Satner back into the attack. Replacing Trent Bolt. He's up. He bowls to Harris, who launches him over extra cover. He's going to go to the boundary. It's not quite going to go to the boundary. Trent Boult does the fielding, cuts it off for a single. And Mohammed Harris looking to put on the accelerator, looking to finish this game off early. I think for Pakistan, what they should be really aiming for now is just to really hit a couple of big shots here and really finish this game off. You don't really want to take it to the last over. Satner in to Harris. Didn't quite time that pull shot. Instead, he hit it straight down the ground to long on for a single. And Rizwan slipped over. He's okay. Looking pretty happy, and he should be. He's played a really good knock tonight. Good half century from him. Got the toe end of the bat there, Harris. In the end, that's why it went straight back down the ground instead of through the leg side, where he was going to hit it in the first place. Anyway, Satner, raring to go now. Top of his mark. He bounds in. He's up, he bowls. This one down the leg side, a sweep from Rizwan. It's running fine to the fine leg boundary. Sodhi will cut it off. They'll come back for two. And that's good running. Good running from Pakistan. They'll come back. That's very good from them tonight. Their running's been very good between the wickets, especially Azam and Rizwan, and now Rizwan and Harris. And just hasn't gone New Zealand's way tonight. Satner in. This one short, outside off stump, and worked to the fielder at deep cover for a single. 33 or 32. It's a runner ball now. Pakistan 1 for 120. This game is going to a definite conclusion, and it's the way of Pakistan. New Zealand, disappointing from them, really. It's just been poor from them this evening. Satner to Rizwan, worked off his pads through mid-wicket for a single. There just hasn't really been any pressure. And it's just easy singles, just too many easy singles. And New Zealand haven't really adapted well with the ball. I would have thought they would have bowled better, would have learned what the Pakistan bowlers would have done in the first innings. But I think the pitch has got a little bit better to bat on in the second innings. It's come on a little bit. Satner in to Harris, an attempted sweep. In the end, I think he got a bit of an inside edge onto his leg, and it bobbled out to short third man for a single. It's the end of the over. It's 1 for 122 after 15. And it's been a very good start for Pakistan in this game, really. They've bowled well, they've batted well, and they're on track with 5 overs remaining. They need 31 or 30. I think a couple of big overs here. Try and finish the game off. Don't let it get to the 20th over. And let's try and finish the game off in style. But they don't need to do anything rash. It's straightforward. $31 of 30. So we haven't got really much to talk about now, seeing that the game is going to a pretty straightforward conclusion. Any questions you may have in the chat, feel free to ask me. I'll be happy to answer them. I've got nothing much to speak about the game in general. It's pretty much going straightforward and going to plan for Pakistan. Tim Southey back into the attack. Bowls to Harris. This one short outside off stump. Straight to backward point in Satner for a dot ball. So any questions, anything you may have, anything at all, send them through in the comments section. I'll be more than happy to answer them. As I said, we've got nothing much to speak of. Oh, that was a drop catch. In the end, that was a drop catch. Oh, it hasn't gone New Zealand's way tonight. That was a drop catch at backward point from Satner. They've dropped a couple of catches tonight. Pakistan. Southey into Harris and ramps this. Laps this down to fine leg for a couple of runs. Trent Boult does well. Cuts it off. Saves the boundary. Couple of runs in the end. Yeah. Good effort there from Trent Boult. Really good effort there to save 4 runs. A couple of runs in the end. Just having a look just to make sure he didn't touch the rope. No, he didn't. He did very well there. New Zealand, their fielding's been off tonight. A couple of drop catches. Satner dropped Harris at backward point in this over. And then Devon Conway dropped Babrazam early. Tough chance to his right. As the wicketkeeper, this one's worked onto the leg side for a quick single from Harris. 28 off 27. That's how many they need, Pakistan. And they're well on track to win this game. Oh, yeah, that went very quick to Mitchell Satner, but should have been taken a backward point. In the end, New Zealand would be disappointed with that effort. He's only around about 21 metres off the bat, really. So he is close. Southee into Rizwan, this one short. And defended back down the pitch onto the leg side for no run. Well, I would have fought for an interesting semi-final tonight. In the end, it's been a pretty much an odd game, really. Pakistan, pretty much you would say, pretty much in the box seat for the whole match. Hasn't really gone the way of New Zealand. It's just pretty much a poor performance from them. A single down to long on from Rizwan. Pakistan need 27 of 25 to win. They can almost taste the final. And they'll book their place in Melbourne for the final on Sunday. That's if there's no rain around. Weather forecast doesn't look good, but let's hope it doesn't play havoc. Here we go. Southee in bowls to Harris. Harris works us through behind square on the leg side to backward square leg for a single. End of the over. It's 1 for 127 after 16 overs. And nearly done in this game. It's nearly finished. 26 off 24 for Pakistan to win. And it's just petered out to a, well, sort of a one-sided contest in the end. Well, if you're still with us, thanks for joining us. I know this is a little bit of a boring conclusion to the match, and it's pretty straightforward now, but if you've got any questions or anything you want to ask me, I know a lot of people have been asking questions, which has been fantastic. Let me know in the comments section so I can try and answer them for you. If you have any questions, be more than happy to do that. Got nothing else to talk about. The game's pretty much done, you would think, barring a batting collapse from Pakistan, which looks unlikely at this stage. They've got a handle on conditions. And they're celebrating in the stands. Why not? They've played really well. Now Harris works this through to deep square leg for a couple of runs. And Finn Allen does the fielding. 24 off 23. It's been a straightforward run chase for Pakistan. John says, I think if Baba hadn't got out, Pakistan would have finished it off by now. They have nothing to gain from hitting out now. No, they don't. The way they're going at the moment, John, it's pretty risk-free. You don't need to take too many risks. 24 off 23, you can just knock it around for singles, hit the odd boundary. This one, a full toss, an attempted uppercut from Harris. In the end, it goes straight through to the keeper for no run. That was a slower ball there. Rolled the fingers across that one. Trying to take the pace off there. That one, a bit of a short delivery from Boult outside off stump. I thought it was a full toss in the end, but it wasn't. And Harris tried to go for the uppercut down to third man. Didn't quite time it. Boult to Harris. Traps him in front. On the pads, they'll scamper through for a leg bye. There was an appeal for LBW from Boult. Marais Erasmus walked away and said no. In the end, a leg bye, That was a knuckleball from Bolt. Took the pace off completely. Ooh. Looked pretty close. Maybe outside the line, maybe the angle. But New Zealand, they don't have any reviews left. They could have challenged that one, and I think it would have been out. But anyway. Bolt into Rizwan, drives it straight back past Bolt, down to long on for a couple of runs at least, maybe 3 if they wanted. They were thinking about the 3rd, but in the end they settled for 2. John says, biggest danger is Pakistan getting bored and losing focus. That's right, John. At the moment, they've just nudged it around in the gaps. Easy singles, and really no pressure from New Zealand whatsoever. I think the opening partnership pretty much took the wind out of their sails, if I could use that saying. And they've just been flat. They've gone through the motions, and it hasn't been a great game for New Zealand, but it's been the ideal game for Pakistan. But yes, they can't afford to lose focus here now. Bolt bowls to Rizwan, tries to pull this, mistimes it, straight through to the keeper for no run, try to pull that down to backward square leg or square leg for a 6 or a boundary. In the end, 21 off 19 required for Pakistan. A reminder, we're back tomorrow. We're back tomorrow for semi-final number 2, and that's India versus England from the Adelaide Oval. This one's a full toss from Bolt, and out, straight into the hands of Glenn Phillips at deep cover, and Trent Bolt. Oh, there was a run out as well. Oh, there was some confusion everywhere. There was the catch and then a run out. In the end, he'll be out caught. The run out won't count. But New Zealand get the wicket to end the over. It's 2 for 132 after 17. Oh, it was all happening there. Now then, there was a catch and then there was a run out. So in the end, I think the run out won't count. Obviously, the catch will take precedence if we're looking at the law book. So we're just checking to see if it's a waist-high full toss. So that's why the umpires are just checking. It was a full toss from Bolt. It was nearly above the waist. In the end, it was caught, and it was a good catch. Now let's have a look. Rizwan just slicing this ball to the deep cover fielder. Glenn Phillips took a very good catch. It's borderline. Looks pretty close to the waist. And then also there was a run-out opportunity as well in the end. Damage was already done for Pakistan. They lost the wicket of Rizwan, but they're just checking for the waist-high full toss with the no ball. I think it's okay. Looked pretty close. Third umpire yet to give his decision. And he's given it out. So he's on his way, Rizwan. He's got to go, but a very good innings from Mohammad Rizwan. 57 he made. It's 2 for 132 after 17. A very good catch from Glenn Phillips in the deep cover region. Gaurav, I may be crazy, but still in my heart. But still my heart says this will go down to the last over. Well, we've got 3 overs left. And then 2 for 132. Pakistan. You would think Pakistan would win, but this is the thing. You don't want to take it to the last over. If you're in this sort of position, you just want to finish the game off now. But New Zealand will still maintain hope and believe that we're still a chance. Shan Masood is at the crease. He's the new batter, Masood. And he'll be looking to get the job done for Pakistan. Pakistan would not like to take this to the final over. I don't think they should. They should really wrap up the match with 3 overs left, you would think. But you never know, Gaurav. They may take it to the last over. Everyone's still awake in the chat. Let us know if you're still watching us. It's great to have your company as always. And you never know, this game could have a twist and a turn. Who knows? It looks like Pakistan are straightforward victory here, but that may not be the case. Lockie Ferguson in to bowl the 18th. He bowls to Harris. This one short. Plain a miss from Harris. straight through to the keeper and Conway for a bye, and they'll get the bye. So they'll scamper through for the bye. John says, nothing causing panic like falling wickets. That's right. You never know in this game. Cricket does weird things, especially when you lose wickets and you lose them in clumps. And Pakistan are known to, have a batting collapse from time to time. They'll be hoping not to have one now. You would think 20 off 17, you would think they'll win this game. But if New Zealand can take it to the last over, you never know. If they could defend, I don't know, maybe 12 off the last over, give them something to defend. They need a lot of runs to defend the last over. Quick single. Williamson doesn't pick up cleanly at mid-wicket. Fumbles. They'll scamper through for a single. Their fielding tonight, New Zealand's been a little bit off. They've dropped a couple of catches. They've fumbled some deliveries. Hasn't been good at all. John says it's looking a bit sloppy now. Well, yes, if you're a New Zealand supporter, you won't be happy about the fielding. It's a little bit sloppy tonight. Ferguson in, bowls to Harris. Tries to pull this. He's out of his ground. He's down the pitch. In the end, no run. Looking for the single there. In the end, Shan Masood says, no, not going to risk a run out there. Took the pace off there, Ferguson. It was an inside edge onto his pads, and it trickled out to Conway behind the stumps. Looking for a quick single, but in the end, they say no. It's a dot ball. 19 off 15. You can't tell me Pakistan are not going to win this game from here. But as I mentioned before, funny things have happened in the game of cricket. Look what happened at South Africa and the Netherlands, for example. Anything can happen. Here we go. Ferguson in to Harris. This one's full, dug out. And a good piece of fielding, is it? No, it's not. It's 4 runs. Mid-off. Doesn't cut it off. A much-needed boundary for Pakistan. It was looking a bit tense there. And now it's 15 off 14. Very good shot to get that past the fielder at mid-off. And Harris dug out that Yorker nicely from Ferguson. Jihan says, I can see South Africa losing it from this position. I think they will, Jihan. 15 off 14. Maybe a bit shaky for South Africa. Ferguson in again to Harris. Pulls this. Is it over the rope for 6? Down to deep backward square leg. It's 6 runs, and you think now Pakistan are going to win this game. Well, New Zealand had a bit of hope, but that's been dashed. And finally, Pakistan are putting their foot down. Don't take it to the last over. Look to finish the game off now. And that's what they've done. Good shot from Mohammad Harris. An over deep backward square leg for 6. And that's gone into the crowd. And the Pakistan team, they're applauding that. Matthew Hayden up and about. This one's full and driven to the fielder in the deep on the offside for a single. End of the over, it's 2 for 145 after 18 overs. 2 for 145. We've got 2 overs left, 8 off 12. You would think Pakistan have got this game in the bag. John says, if I was Pakistan, I wouldn't be too happy about the batting right now. It's looking very indecisive. And John, you say Pakistan must have heard me. Well, they must have. They put the foot down. Sumit, hello. Hope you're well. You say, hey, Jack, do you think in tournaments having extra bowling option should be there or not? Depends on the team balance, Sumit. Depends on their balance. Whether a team wants an extra bowler or not. Teams have floated with that idea here. New Zealand have played with an extra bowler, obviously. They've played, pretty much an extra bowler in their team throughout this whole tournament. So it does come in handy when you need that extra bowling option if you're lacking some bowlers in the attack. But it's up to individual teams whether or not they want that extra option or not. And that's their own choice. But throughout this tournament, we've seen teams go with different strategies and different ways of thinking. As Mitchell Santner, this could be done in the last over here. Could be done in this over. Santner bowls an attempted sweep shot there from Harris. In the end, misses it outside off stump for no run. Straight through to the keeper. But thanks for the question, Sumit, and thanks for joining us. Jihan says, that was quite decisive. Was. Very good shot for 6. Santner in. Harris, reverse sweep. Out, no, dropped. Dropped at short third man. New Zealand have dropped another catch. That's 3 catches now. Conway, Santner, and now Isodi has dropped a catch at short third man. Oh, it carried and he dropped it. Oh, New Zealand, their fielding's been poor tonight. We don't see this from the New Zealand team. Kane Williamson scratching his head. The coach, Gary Stead, looking unhappy about that drop. It's 7 off 10. Pakistan. Or you never know. It could go down to the last server if Pakistan don't finish it off here. Gaurav says Matthew Hayden looks pumped. Well, he's pumped. He had that motivational speech, didn't he? Gave it to the Pakistan team and it's worked. Renell says Pakistan is almost nearing home. Well, they are. Santner in to Shan Masood. Works this to deep cover for a single. 6 off 9. Oh, if they hit a maximum here, Pakistan, it's over. Don't take it to the last over. Finish it off in this over. You can target Mitchell Santner. Renell says, oh my God, drop again. Well, yes. Has it been good? Jihan says, it's annoying that New Zealand was so gun-ho on knocking Australia out, but then turned in performances like this against England and Pakistan. Yes, they haven't really performed well in this game tonight. Santner in to Harris, who cuts this outside off stump for a single. Glenn Phillips does the fielding in the covers. It's 5 off 8. Pakistan, 1 boundary will do it. You don't want to take it to the last over. 2 balls left to the 19th. Can Santner bowl some dots? Build the pressure for the last over. Take it to the last over. Santner in. Bowls to Masoon. It beats everyone. It's going away to the boundary, is it? The Pakistan fans are willing it on, but it's not going to quite get to the boundary. But Devon Conway missed it, and they'll concede buys. I think they ran 3 in the end. I think 3 buys. The 150's up. There was poor keeping from Conway. Should have cut that off. This one just turned sharply from Santner. Nearly bowled him in the end. Nearly bowled Masoon, and unfortunately Devon Conway couldn't cut it off. We've talked about his keeping tonight. He's not really a full-time keeper. It's now 2 off 7. Those buys have hurt New Zealand. Pakistan will take them as they come. Their runs at the end of the day. Gaurav says, what's going on there? Well, I think many New Zealand supporters have been saying that from the get-go, Gaurav. What's going on? New Zealand haven't been playing well. Renell says, oh my God, wow. It's just not gone right. Here we go. This could be the last ball. Oh, he's out. He's gone. Oh, it's a wicket. Well, can you believe it? Santner gets the wicket of Masoon. He gets the wicket of Harris. And he tried to work that over. Short, fine leg for a boundary. He knew that short, fine leg was up. He wasn't back at a fine leg position. And that would have been the winning runs there. But in the end, didn't time it well and hit it straight to the fielder at short, fine leg. Pakistan lose their 3rd wicket. But you would think it doesn't matter now. They're pretty much home. It's the end of the over. It's 3 for 151. We've got 1 over remaining of the semi-final. Pakistan need 2 runs to win. Surely not. Surely not. Harris gone for 30. Raj says, hello. Hello, Raj. Renell says, what crazy scenes? Raj says, I almost forgot about the stream. Hi, everyone. Well, great to see you, Raj. We're nearly done. Pakistan need 2 runs off 6 to win. You would think 1 blow should do it. And then Pakistan will be playing the final on Sunday. John says, come on, super over. Make it exciting. Well, we've got Renell in the chat here. Renell, Come on, Renell. Wish on a super over. John's wishing a super over. Make it more exciting. And Raj says, told you all. India and Pakistan final. Could be. Gaurav says, there you go. Drop from Sodhi and the 3 buys. This could have been the difference. Could have been. But New Zealand have not fielded well tonight. That's unusual from New Zealand standards. They're a pretty good fielding side. Not tonight. Renell says, super over. It could be. Tim Southey will bowl the last over of this match. 6 balls separate Pakistan from a final. And New Zealand would like to keep it to a super over if they can. The field's in. Everyone's in the inner circle saving the singles. They've only got 3 fielders outside the circle. Everyone else is inside the circle saving the singles. It could go one or two ways here. He either hits a 6 or gets out. Or a dot ball. Either way, here we go. Could be over this ball. Here we go. Southey in to... Oh, it's down the leg side. It's a wide, is it? It is. It's a wide. It's a wide. Pakistan have won this now. It's a wide. Scores are tied. 152 apiece. Pakistan need a run to win. It's a wide from Southey down the leg side. Oh, dear. Raj says MCG will be near full house with Pakistan in the finals. If you want a full house, get India in. Could be, but we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, Raj. Here we go. Southey in. Last ball of the over. You would think last ball of this match, and it is. Punched down the ground for 1. Pakistan have won by 7 wickets. They're going through to the final on Sunday. Absolute jubilant scenes here at the SCG. They're hugging each other. Pakistan have come back from nowhere to be in the final of the T20 World Cup. They were down and out when they lost the first 2 games. But this team under Babar Azam and the speech by Matthew Hayden has got the team back and running again in this T20 World Cup. Pakistan are through to the final. New Zealand are out. And all eyes will be on tomorrow's final with India and England from the Adelaide Oval. Who will win that? Will it be India-Pakistan final? Many people are wishing that. But in the end, Pakistan have won, and they are through to the final on Sunday in Melbourne. Who will they play? Will it be India or Pakistan? Or will it be Pakistan or England? Renell says it's over. Yes, it's over, Renell. I'm sorry, New Zealand are gone. I know you were going for New Zealand. Gaurav says India, Pakistan final. Well, could be. Raj says Pakistan is winning it all. They look like it. They're on a roll. They've got momentum. Raj says, I have a gut feeling. Raj also says, this is our 75th year. No way England should win this, be it semi-finals or finals. Well, there you have it, everyone. New Zealand and Pakistan. First semi-final from the SCG is over. If you're a Pakistan supporter, congratulations. Pakistan won by 7 wickets, and they're through to the final on Sunday. Let's have a quick recap of the match. Renell says, yes, from the very start, I was with New Zealand. Unfortunately, Renell, I was supporting New Zealand tonight, but unfortunately, the team couldn't get the job done. Anyway, that's the way it goes. For me, I don't really care who wins because Australia's not playing. So anyway, it was a good victory from Pakistan. Well-deserved in the end. Let's have a quick summary of what happened in this game between New Zealand and Pakistan. And we'll talk about it. And then we'll talk about tomorrow's semi-final between India and England from the Adelaide Oval. But let's talk about this game tonight. Raj says absolute scenes in the stands. Well, yes, very passionate, the Pakistan supporters. And they were able to get the job done indeed. So let's talk about this game. Well, pretty much New Zealand batted first, 4 for 152 from their 20 overs. And it was a pitch that many of the batters were struggling for timing. Ball wasn't really coming onto the bat all that well. They did well to get to that score of 152 for 4. New Zealand. Kane Williamson top scored with, Daryl Mitchell top scored with 53 not out. Kane Williamson, 46. The bowlers for Pakistan did well. 2 wickets for Afridi and 1 for Nawaz. And obviously there was a run out of Devon Conway for the 4th wicket there. Pakistan, in the end, it was a pretty simple run chase. Chased it down easily in the end. Brilliant opening partnership between Rizwan and Azam. 57 for Rizwan, 53 for Azam, 30 for Harris, and 3 for 153 Pakistan finished on. New Zealand, their bowling performance was poor tonight. 2 wickets for Bolt and a wicket for Satner. That's about it, really. And there we go. That's the quick summary of this match. Pretty much Pakistan will be delighted with this result today. John says Asjad will be doing cartwheels. He will be. He will be. If you're listening, Asjad, well, you'll be very happy that Pakistan are through to the final. No doubt about he'll be jumping up and down, watching on TV tonight's game and supporting the team as always. Renell says, glad I catch the stream. Got a run, had to go. Thank you, Jack, and take care, everyone. Be safe and see you all tomorrow. Well, thank you, Renell. Yes, we're back tomorrow. And we're back tomorrow for semi-final number 2. And that will be India and England from the Adelaide Oval. Well, my quick thoughts on the game, pretty much one-sided in the end. Pakistan cantered home in the run chase, made it a little bit harder for themselves, not getting those runs in the end there. But the opening partnership fired, and that was the important thing for Pakistan. If Azam and Rizwan got off to a good start, Pakistan were a chance of chasing the runs down. They got off to that flyer. They didn't fire for most of the tournament, but in the semi-final, where it matters the most, they fired and got the job done. For New Zealand, it's been a bit of a disappointing result tonight. They didn't bat well, didn't field well. They dropped catches and pretty much didn't quite go their way this evening. So very disappointing if you're a New Zealand supporter, but if you're a Pakistan supporter, very happy indeed. Our next live stream for everyone is tomorrow, second semi-final from the Adelaide Oval. That's going to be an exciting game. Who will win that game? I have no idea. In my preview, I went with England. I think, coming in as the favourites, they're probably the favourites to win. India are playing some good cricket as well. So that's our next live stream. That's tomorrow. Join us for that same time as tonight's live stream. Our next episode will be the match review from semi-final number 1. That will be New Zealand and Pakistan. That's going to come out very shortly, where we talk about where it went right and where it went wrong for New Zealand and Pakistan this evening. Join our fantasy league. If you haven't joined that, make sure you join our fantasy league. With the games remaining in this T20 World Cup, make sure you join our fantasy league and make sure you come and join us for that. And I think that will just about do it for us for this evening. John, you say good night. Catch up tomorrow night. Yes, John, we'll be back tomorrow. It's great to see you as always. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for everyone for joining us. Thank you, as always, for joining us. It's been a great time as always. And that will pretty much do us for this evening. So pretty much a very good semi-final in the end if you're a Pakistan supporter. Pakistan winning by 7 wickets and winning this semi-final to progress to Sunday's final to either verse India or England in semi-final number 2. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Before we go, remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and click the bell to make sure you get the latest episodes of the podcast. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Most of the podcasts are now available on Anchor, Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts. Until next time, keep safe and bye for now.